Chapter 150. In the Sky Soul Ghost Valley that was filled with demonic chi, the five-man team slowly advanced, with Long Yu following far behind. With Long Yu's tracking skills, it was impossible for the other party to discover him. Although the Sky Soul Ghost Valley is the world of demonic beasts, it is not easy to find demonic beasts and kill them. Long Yu followed the other party for a full 2 hours before realizing that the situation in the Sky Soul Ghost Valley was different from what he had expected. All the demonic beasts here were extremely cautious. When they discovered traces of human cultivators from afar, they would begin to measure whether they were opponents or not. If the human cultivators were too strong, they would avoid them. Human cultivators could absorb the demonic chi from the demonic beast's cores. On the contrary, demonic beasts could also kill human cultivators and absorb the profound chi within to raise their martial arts realm. Therefore, in the end, the Sky Soul Ghost Valley was not a place for human cultivators to hunt demonic beasts, but a place for human cultivators and demonic beasts to kill each other. Human cultivators who were too weak would be left with nothing after entering the Sky Soul Ghost Valley. However, if it was a stronger human cultivator, they would be able to advance in the Sky Soul Ghost Valley for a long time and remain safe and sound, because no demonic beasts were willing to provoke them. Demonic beasts are also existences with intelligence. Because of this, to be able to kill the Ghost Valley Envoy, who is at least at the true spirit realm, not only requires absolute strength, but also some luck, Long Yu thought. The Ghost Valley Envoy was definitely not so easily killed by human cultivators. However, once he killed the Ghost Valley Envoy, he would be able to obtain a high-grade spirit-level inner core, as well as various materials from his body, which could be used to refine weapons. This made Long Yu remember that if he could kill any demonic beast, its corpse might be very valuable, so he could not let it go. The various parts of a demonic beast's corpse, whether it was used to refine pills or to refine weapons, all had their own special value. With regard to this knowledge, Long Yu did not understand it in detail. He could not specifically choose the useful parts of the demonic beast's corpse to dissect, so he could only stuff the entire thing into the 9 nether space. This was a huge advantage for him compared to other Jianghu cultivators. As he thought about it, Long Yu followed the team of 5 and gradually approached a rather special area. This area was filled with rocks and weeds, and it was like an extremely complicated maze. Be careful. The team of 5 stopped about 100 feet away from the entrance of the stone forest, as if they had discovered something. This is the territory of the stone-howling draconic rhinoceroses. I wonder if there's a leader that has condensed a true spirit. If there is one, retreat immediately. They didn't realize that Long Yu was just 1,000 feet behind them, hiding in the dense forest. As for Long Yu, when he saw them stop in their tracks, his heart skipped a beat. Are they finally going to fight? Then he heard a special angry roar coming from the stone forest in front of him. These angry roars actually contained an extremely powerful force of the world, and even a domain, which instantly suppressed the team of 5. Following that, a huge demonic beast appeared. It looked like a rhinoceros, but its body was as hard as rock. It was even taller than the 2 of them combined. This was an adult stone howling draconic rhinoceros. It's a level 4 true spirit realm beast, but there's only one. At that moment, the eyes of the team of 5 lit up. They could clearly see that the stone howling draconic rhinoceros was in labor. Although it had the cultivation of level 4 true spirit realm, its combat power wasn't that strong. This stone-howling draconic rhinoceros had a horn the size of a human, and it was covered with granite-like patterns. One look, and they knew it was an excellent material for refining weapons. Not bad. We're rich. The team of 5 quickly prepared for battle. Although this stone-howling draconic rhinoceros was in labor and it was pregnant, its combat power couldn't be underestimated. Long Yu hid far away. Seeing that the team of 5 was about to fight with the stone-howling draconic rhinoceros, he didn't make any moves, because he noticed something strange. According to the cultivation realm and condition of the stone-howling draconic rhinoceros, it definitely couldn't defeat the team of 5. However, it had jumped out of its nest. Along the way, Long Yu didn't believe that the stone-howling draconic rhinoceros didn't have any other trump cards. The team of 5 was experienced in hunting demonic beasts, so they wouldn't be too careless. However, the attraction of the stone-howling draconic rhinoceros was too great, so they couldn't think of too many possibilities. If there was any danger, they could wait until they killed the stone-howling draconic rhinoceros and took its orb and horn. The battle was about to begin. Without any hesitation, the team of 5 attacked the stone-howling draconic rhinoceros. All sorts of illusory figures appeared, and the laws and power of heaven and earth enveloped the stone-howling draconic rhinoceros. As for the stone-howling draconic rhinoceros, it roared angrily, and a giant rock illusory figure appeared behind it. With a single charge, it shattered one of the illusory figures. In just one exchange, one of the 5 had lost the battle prowess of a true spirit, causing that person's face to turn red. However, this wasn't his fault. No matter whose illusory figure in their team, they wouldn't be able to withstand the stone-howling draconic rhinoceros's giant rock illusory figure. After all, the stone-howling draconic rhinoceros's giant rock illusory figure had already condensed into a solid body, and its power was more than 10 times stronger than the illusory figure. However, the stone-howling draconic rhinoceros's current strength was its giant rock illusory figure. Apart from that, its body was too cumbersome, and most importantly, it was carrying the baby draconic rhinoceros, so its battle power wasn't too strong. The other 4 people in the team of 5 seized the time and used their strongest skills as fast as they could, attacking the stone-howling draconic rhinoceros's body. Boom, boom. Amidst the terrifying collision sounds, the giant stone-howling draconic rhinoceros's footsteps were a little unstable, but a layer of granite-veined rocks appeared on the surface of its body. This layer of granite-veined rocks was shattered by the 4 people's powerful attacks, but the stone-howling draconic rhinoceros's body wasn't hurt. That layer of granite-veined rocks was the stone-howling draconic rhinoceros's defense. At this moment, a sudden scream entered the ears of the 4 people. They turned their heads to look in bewilderment, only to see that the Jianghu martial cultivator, whose true spirit had been shattered by the stone-howling draconic rhinoceros, had a purple face and was clutching his chest as he fell to the ground in pain. Oh no, it's the sneak attack of the Ghost Valley Snake disciples. At that moment, the remaining 4 people panicked. The Ghost Valley Snake disciples loved to bite the blood vessels of human martial cultivators and inject the poison into the human martial cultivator's heart through the blood vessels. The terrifying poison was enough to make a LV3 True Spirit Realm martial cultivator die in pain within a few breaths, their faces turning purple. They never thought that when they were dealing with the stone-howling draconic rhinoceros, there would be a sneak attack from the Ghost Valley Snake disciples. They should have thought of this earlier. Otherwise, how could the stone-howling draconic rhinoceros chase after them so boldly? Run! Among the 5 people, the leader made a decision immediately. The remaining 4 people were all in LV3 True Spirit Realm, so it was impossible for them to deal with 2 LV4 True Spirit Realm demonic beasts at the same time. Needless to say, one of them was the Ghost Valley Snake disciple that made many martial cultivators tremble in fear. The remaining 4 people didn't need the leader to say anything. They immediately turned around and fled in 4 different directions. However, just as they turned around, a black light flashed, and one of them was bitten by a black poisonous snake as thick as an arm. The poison instantly entered his body and entered his heart. "Ah, save me!" As he screamed these 3 words, his entire body fell to the ground. His face turned purple, and he lost his life. Immediately after, Long Yu saw the black poisonous snake, which was as thick as an arm, transform into a black ray of light and chase after the remaining 3 people. Its speed was extremely fast, to the extent that it wasn't any slower than the speed of Long Yu's lunar wings. It could be imagined that the remaining 3 people would definitely not be able to escape the pursuit of the Ghost Valley Snake disciples. And this gave Long Yu a perfect opportunity. seeing the black, poisonous Ghost Valley snake disciple turn into a black light and disappear into the distance, Long Yu fixed his gaze on the swaying stone, howling draconic rhinoceros. Although the four people's full power attacks were blocked by the granite lines, the tyrannical power had penetrated deep into its body, causing it to be unable to stand steadily. And at this moment, Long Yu's target was this stone, howling draconic rhinoceros. Nether Dragon Leap. A distance of 100 feet, Long Yu took out the 9 Nether Dragon Spear and swept across it. At the same time, he bit his finger and threw his blood on the 9 Nether Dragon Spear. He immediately used the spiritual communication martial skill, Reverse Scale Touch. The terrifying long spear, suffused with the color of the 9 Nether Dragon Spear, attacked the stone howling draconic rhinoceros at an extremely fast speed. The stone howling draconic rhinoceros reacted almost immediately. Although its body seemed to be very cumbersome, it was not careless when it fought. As soon as it realized that it was being ambushed, it immediately condensed a layer of solid granite lines on the surface of its body. Immediately after, the giant rock true spirit that had condensed into a corpse heavily collided with the 9 Nether Dragon Spear. The stone howling draconic rhinoceros's reaction was completely within Long Yu's expectations. You're already dead. Long Yu let go of the 9 Nether Dragon Spear and turned into Ghost Chi, disappearing from midair. Then, he reappeared behind the stone howling draconic rhinoceros. At this moment, the stone howling draconic rhinoceros's giant rock true spirit had just collided with the 9 Nether Dragon Spear. The 9 Nether Dragon Spear was indeed a top-grade spiritual level combat weapon. Even when it collided with a real spirit, it did not show any signs of being damaged. If it was an ordinary combat weapon, it would have been smashed into pieces by the giant rock true spirit. At this moment, the stone howling draconic rhinoceros had no other tricks up its sleeves. It could only withstand the bombardment of Long Yu's martial skill. 9 Nether Dragon Fist, Reincarnation Awakening. Drunk in the Yellow Springs. The Yellow Springs and the Path of Reincarnation appeared at almost the same time, completely enveloping the stone howling draconic rhinoceros. Not only was the stone howling draconic rhinoceros shocked by the Yellow Springs aura, it was also temporarily reincarnated by Long Yu's punch, causing its cultivation level to temporarily drop to LV3 of the True Spirit Realm. Then, Long Yu punched the ground of the stone forest. Chapter 151. A terrifying netherworld chi condensed into a pillar of air and erupted from the ground, instantly enveloping the stone howl dragon rhino. The cold and strange netherworld chi instantly invaded the stone howl dragon rhino's body, causing it to let out a painful roar. It was as if the sky was going to collapse. The stone forest behind Long Yu trembled under the stone howl dragon rhino's roar. Huge rocks shattered and fell to the ground. However, no matter what, the stone howl dragon rhino had been severely injured by Long Yu's dragon fist of the Nine Abyss. It had no chance of survival. Its huge body, which was twice the height of an ordinary person, fell to the ground. Black lines flowed faintly under the hard skin of the stone howl dragon rhino. This was a sign that it had been corroded by the netherworld chi. Long Yu hit at the side and suddenly attacked the stone howl dragon rhino. It happened in an instant. However, at this moment, when the stone howl dragon rhino fell to the ground, Long Yu did not relax. Instead, he became more vigilant. This was because he knew that it was very likely that the Phantom Valley Snake follower had already killed the remaining 3 people and returned. Just as Long Yu was thinking about this, a black snake shadow suddenly burst out from behind him. The speed of the sneak attack was something that even Long Yu could not compare to. He only felt a sharp pain from his back, as if a large piece of flesh had been bitten off by the black snake shadow. Thunderstorm Divine Charm explode. Long Yu was already prepared. The Thunderstorm Law Divine Charm that he had comprehended in his body suddenly erupted, causing his entire body to be covered by the flashing thunderstorm lightning. At this moment, his entire body was shrouded by bright purple lightning, and the destructive power of the thunderstorm, divine charm instantly backfired on the black snake shadow that was biting his back. The black snake had just injected poison into Long Yu's body when it was scorched on the outside and tender on the inside by the destructive lightning. It subconsciously let go and disappeared in a flash. Long Yu did not hesitate at all. He felt that the piece of flesh on his back near his heart had been bitten off by the Ghost Valley Snake follower and had been injected with deadly poison. Fortunately, he had tempered his body with the sky thunder and achieved the black thunder tyrant body. At this moment, his defense against the poisonous attack of the Phantom Valley Snake Men was much stronger. The deadly poison moved slowly through his bloodline. The power of the nightmare thunder laws that merged into his body constantly stopped the poison from spreading. Although he couldn't completely block the poison because of his martial arts realm, it gave Long Yu enough time to deal with it. He decisively took out the mid-grade spirit-level dagger that he had obtained from Qiu Zhan and quickly infused it with profound energy to increase its sharpness. After that, he took the initiative to cut off the poison part of his back. The pieces of flesh that fell had long since turned dark. When they landed on the ground, they were instantly corroded and rotted by the poison. If not for the Dark Thunder Tyrant body, I would have died just now. Although there was no fear in Long Yu's heart, he was a little shocked at this moment. The sneak attack of the Phantom Valley Snake follower was really hard to guard against. Fortunately, when the other party launched a sneak attack, at this moment, Long Yu was already prepared. He could feel the faint killing intent directed at him from the surrounding bushes. If the other party wanted to attack again, Long Yu would definitely be able to react quickly. But soon his face changed. There are two Phantom Valley Snake followers, two black snake shadows, one on the left and one on the right, suddenly attacked Long Yu. However, Long Yu immediately reacted. These were not two Ghost Valley Snake followers, but one Ghost Valley Snake follower and his true spirit that had condensed into a physical body. The Phantom Valley Snake follower was a powerful demonic beast at the 4th level of the true spirit secret realm. Naturally, it had condensed a real spirit. Because of this, Long Yu did not know which of the two black snake shadows was the real body of the Phantom Valley Snake follower and which was the real spirit body. When the other party condensed the real spirit body and launched a sneak attack from the left and right, it was accompanied by a dense poisonous pressure. Under such pressure, ordinary martial cultivators would instantly die from the poison. Without hesitation, Long Yu condensed the heaven-suppressing sun and released a tyrannical heaven-suppressing domain to resist the other party's poisonous pressure. With the addition of the Dark Thunder Tyrant body, he was not affected. Immediately after, Long Yu activated the lunar wings, and a pair of grayish-black wings spread out from his back. In an instant, his entire body turned into a grayish-black stream of light, and he quickly dodged the other party's pincer attack. After making preparations, Long Yu would not be so easily ambushed. Not good. After dodging the sneak attack, Long Yu was not happy at all, because he found that although the two black snake shadows did not attack him, they were attacking his Sun True Spirit. In an instant, there was a terrifying power of the poison law eroding the Sun True Spirit. Even if the Sun True Spirit was not a living creature, it was corroded by the power of the poison at this moment. Withdraw. Long Yu immediately withdrew the heaven-suppressing sun back into his dantian. The real spirit that had condensed a real body was much stronger than his Sun True Spirit shadow, and there was no way for the two to resist. If he did not withdraw the heaven-suppressing sun, it would be completely destroyed by the Phantom Valley Snake follower in the next breath. In this way, Long Yu would have to wait for a few months to recover. At the same time as he withdrew the Sun True Spirit, Long Yu held the long spear in his hand and stained the entire spear tip from the wound on his back. Explode Reverse Scale Touch. Long Yu turned around and threw the 9 Nether Dragon Spear out. It was accompanied by a terrifying killing intent, as if it wanted to completely tear this space apart. Long Yu was injured by the Phantom Valley Snake follower, so the power and speed of the Reverse Scale Touch almost doubled. Even with the speed of the Phantom Valley Snake follower, he could not dodge it. With a loud bang, The 9 nether dragon spear hit one of the black snake shadows, causing the black snake shadow to be heavily nailed to a huge rock. But soon, Long Yu found that the black snake shadow that was hit was only the real body of the phantom valley snake follower. Moreover, this reverse scale touch did not destroy the real body of the phantom valley snake follower. If it was the shadow of the real body, it would definitely not be able to survive under this reverse scale touch. Once the real body is condensed, it is indeed more than 10 times more powerful. Long Yu thought to himself. The 9 nether dragon spear had already left his hand, and he became even more vigilant. Suddenly, the main body of the phantom valley snake follower rushed towards Long Yu. Long Yu only had time to see a black shadow, and the other party was already in front of him. 9 nether dragon fist. Long Yu's fist condensed the 9 nether chi, imitating the Yellow Springs Road, and instantly extended out. However, just as the Yellow Springs Road was about to envelop the phantom valley snake follower, the black snake shadow seemed to have already known about Long Yu's move and quickly dodged to the side. Just now, when Long Yu used this move to kill the stone-howling dragon rhinoceros, the phantom valley snake follower watched from afar, so he was naturally on guard. However, Long Yu's methods were not limited to this. Lunar Heavenly Tablet. Long Yu took out the lunar heavenly tablet that had turned into a jade tablet from his bosom and activated it with profound chi. The jade tablet instantly returned to the size of half a person. The moment the lunar heavenly tablet appeared, a biting cold lunar chi immediately enveloped the surroundings. Combined with the lunar concept that Long Yu had comprehended before, it could unleash an even more tyrannical pressure. The terrifying power of the lunar law instantly turned the surrounding area into a frost domain. Even the movements of the phantom valley snake follower were slowed down by at least half. And in this situation, under the envelopment of the extreme heavenly monument's extreme pressure, Long Yu and the extreme wings resonated with each other, and the speed they erupted with was even faster. It was only because there were no other martial cultivators around that Long Yu would take out the lunar heavenly tablet. This was also the winning magic treasure for him to barge into the ghost valley of the heavenly soul alone. Unexpectedly, the lunar heavenly tablet appeared, freezing everything. Before the phantom valley snake follower could react, the entire black snake shadow was covered in a layer of frost. Its speed slowed down. Finally, it appeared in front of Long Yu with its true appearance. Although this phantom valley snake follower had the appearance of a black snake, on the snake's head, there was a human face, as if it was a snake ghost from hell. When the phantom valley snake follower sensed that something was wrong, and once again took the initiative to attack Long Yu directly smashed the lunar heavenly tablet in his hand. As a treasure born from heaven and earth, if it was not voluntary, there was no existence in this world that could shatter it. The lunar heavenly tablet instantly smashed the phantom valley snake follower, who had become very slow, and sent him flying. Following that, Long Yu continued to use the 9 underworld dragon fist, awakening palm of samsara. The 9 underworld chi condensed on Long Yu's fist, and a wave of samsara aura suddenly burst out. At this moment, Long Yu suddenly had some understanding of this move. When facing a strong enemy, Long Yu's martial skill had finally stepped into the initial realm. All along, although the 9 underworld dragon fist power was terrifying, it had a weakness that could not be considered a weakness, and that was the speed of the punch, as well as the speed of the Yellow Springs Road and the Reincarnation Road. If it was against an opponent of the same level, then the speed of the 9 underworld dragon fist would not feel slow, but would become very fast. However, if it was against a martial arts realm higher than oneself, or even a strong enemy like the phantom valley snake follower who was 2 levels higher, then it would be difficult for the 9 underworld dragon fist to hit the opponent. At this moment, when Long Yu's awakening palm of samsara martial skill had stepped into the initial realm, this weakness was immediately eliminated. With the initial realm of awakening palm of samsara, as long as Long Yu's mind moved, the realm of samsara would appear out of thin air, enveloping the opponent within and attempting to send the opponent into samsara. At this moment, when Long Yu swung his fist, there was a samsara power that instantly enveloped the Phantom Valley snake follower, turning the surroundings into the realm of samsara, causing the Phantom Valley snake follower's strength to suddenly drop by a large level. From LV4 of the True Spirit Realm, it had dropped to LV3 of the True Spirit Realm. If Long Yu wanted to defeat the opponent who was 2 levels higher, then he could only rely on the awakening palm of samsara martial skill. The next moment, a burst of 9 underworld explosion condensed from the Yellow Springs underground and instantly gushed out, enveloping the Phantom Valley snake follower in it, letting out a shrill scream. The Phantom Valley snake follower, who was an LV4 of the True Spirit Realm, was dead. Long Yu's head was already covered in sweat. With his cultivation of LV2 of the True Spirit Realm, it was extremely difficult to kill a LV4 demonic beast. Fortunately, there was half of the Tying Heaven tablet, which greatly reduced the speed of the Phantom Valley snake follower. Otherwise, the Phantom Valley snake follower would be in an invincible position no matter what. Fortunately, Long Yu finally won. Next, it was time to harvest. Chapter 152. A powerful demonic beast's entire body was a treasure to a human martial cultivator. The 2 demonic beasts in front of Long Yu were the same. Powerful demonic beasts that had reached the 4th rank of the True Spirit Realm not only had Inner Dawn to absorb demonic chi to increase their cultivation, but they could also obtain a special item from their true spirit, called Demon Spirit Essence. Strictly speaking, the true spirit formed by a demonic beast should not be called a true spirit, but a demon spirit. Of course, it was similar to the true spirit of a human martial cultivator. However, there were still some differences between the two. When a human martial cultivator obtained the demon spirit essence, they could absorb it and use it to refine their true spirit. After a martial cultivator or a demonic cultivator died, whether it was their true spirit or demon spirit, they would quickly disappear from heaven and earth. The demon spirit essence that was left behind would not exist for long. Moreover, the demon spirit essence was extremely useful to any martial cultivator in the True Spirit Realm. Because of this, the demon spirit essence would not be sold on the market. Once an expert killed a demonic beast, they would immediately absorb the demon spirit essence. Only a demonic beast at the 4th rank of the True Spirit Realm would be able to produce demon spirit essence. Once a demonic beast died, its demon spirit essence would not exist for more than 2 hours. At this moment, Long Yu had made a huge profit. By killing 2 powerful demonic beasts at the 4th rank of the True Spirit Realm, the Stone Howling Rhinoceros and the Ghost Valley Snake Follower, he could absorb their demon spirit essence. Soon, Long Yu examined the corpse of the Ghost Valley Snake Follower. Because the snake's body was small, there was nothing much to say. He absorbed the Inner Dawn and demon spirit essence of the Ghost Valley Snake Follower, then threw the corpse into the 9 nether space. Next, he used the power of the demon spirit essence to refine the Sun True Spirit. Soon, his Sun True Spirit, which was slightly damaged, was completely healed under the nourishment of the Ghost Valley Snake Follower's demon spirit essence. Not only that, it was much more refined than before. The effect of 1 demon spirit essence is equivalent to 3 to 5 spirit level middle grade Inner Dawn. Long Yu's eyes lit up. Sure enough, personally hunting demonic beasts still had great benefits. If he only relied on crystal coins to purchase demonic beast cores, it would be too slow to raise his martial arts realm. If he hunted demonic beasts himself, he could increase his speed by several times. However, it was extremely dangerous. If one was not a powerful martial cultivator, it would be impossible to hunt a rank 4 True Spirit Realm demonic beast alone. Although a martial cultivator at the 4th LV of the True Spirit Secret Realm could easily kill a demonic beast of the same level, they would need more spiritual chi to improve their martial Dao realm. A mere 4th rank True Spirit Realm demon spirit essence wouldn't be able to help them improve much. For Long Yu, breaking through the first 3 layers of the true spirit's secret realm was a matter of accumulation, so there was nothing special about it. As long as he had enough spiritual chi, he could easily break through. However, if he wanted to condense the true spirit into a physical body and step into the 4th stage of the true spirit realm, it would not be that simple. Of course, this was not a problem that he should be considering right now. After dealing with the corpses of the Ghost Valley Snake Men, he quickly ran into trouble with the corpse of the stone-howling draconic rhinoceros. The reason was none other than the sheer size of this demonic beast. Long didn't know which parts of the stone-howling draconic rhinoceros were valuable, so he could only remove the most conspicuous part of the stone-howling draconic rhinoceros horn and absorb its inner core and demon spirit essence. As for the rest, he could forget about it. The skin of this stone-howling draconic rhinoceros should be able to be used to refine a defensive weapon. It would at least be in middle-grade spirit tier. It's a pity that I can't take it away now. The skin of the stone-howling draconic rhinoceros was too hard. If Long wanted to take it away, he would have to spend a long time on it. And now, he was in the Ghost Valley of the Heavenly Soul, and every moment was filled with danger. Since he had already earned a lot, it was better to leave this place as soon as possible. Otherwise, once more demonic beasts rushed over, Long would not be able to bear the consequences. Time flew. It had been 7 days since Long stepped into the Ghost Valley of the Heavenly Soul. However, other than killing a stone-howling draconic rhinoceros and a Ghost Valley Snake Man on the first day, Long did not gain much in the next few days. Even the demonic beasts at the 4th level of the true spirit realm would hide when they saw him. Could it be that there is communication between the demonic beasts? Did they know that I killed the stone-howling draconic rhinoceros and the Ghost Valley Snake Man? Long was a little puzzled. The demonic beasts in the Ghost Valley were simply too vigilant. Unless they had absolute confidence in winning, they would not take the initiative to attack human cultivators. This also caused Long to gain nothing in the past few days. It seemed that it was unrealistic to rely on hunting demonic beasts in the Ghost Valley to quickly raise his martial arts realm. Now, Long knew that he must not treat the demonic beasts in the Ghost Valley as wild beasts. The demonic beasts here were a large group, and each of them possessed extremely high intelligence. While the human cultivators were hunting the demonic beasts were also hunting the humans. In the end, no one side would have the absolute advantage. Once the human cultivators sent out their experts, the Ghost Valley would also send out stronger demonic beasts. This was a country of demonic beasts. Just like the Great Tang Empire, the ancient Ming Kingdom, and so on, the overall strength of the Heavenly Soul Ghost Valley was extremely strong. Furthermore, the individual strength of the demonic beasts far surpassed that of the Great Tang Empire and the other human countries. However, the total number of demonic beasts in the Ghost Valley was definitely far inferior to the total number of humans in the Great Tang Empire and the other human countries. If one wanted to level up in the Ghost Valley, it was best to give up on this idea as soon as possible. Otherwise, they would definitely die without a burial place. Because of this, only martial cultivators without any backers would come to the Ghost Valley to hunt for demonic beasts, because this was simply a life of desperation. Who would be willing to risk their lives in this place like the 7 great sects and clans of the Great Tang Empire? In any case, they had enough cultivation resources. As long as they broke through the bottleneck, their martial arts realm would naturally rise. There was no need for them to risk their lives. Today, Long was prepared to leave the Ghost Valley, because there was no point in staying here any longer. Instead, he had to be vigilant of his surroundings. In these 7 days, Long Yu's mind had already been under a lot of pressure. He had to rest for a while. He activated the lunar wings and turned into a gray ray of light. He traversed through the vast Ghost Valley and headed towards the entrance of the Ghost Valley in the west. Halfway through his journey, he suddenly saw a group of human martial cultivators in front of him. It was them again. Qi Xiaoxue was wearing a brown fur coat, Deng Shun was bare-chested, and Feng Yao was wearing a light green dress. The only change was that they seemed to have one less person than when they first set off. Including Qi Xiaoxue Deng Shun, and Feng Yao. There were only 6 of them in total. Looks like one of them died in the encirclement of the eternal barbarian demonic beast lair. Long Yu squinted his eyes as he watched from afar. Qi Xiaoxue and the rest seemed to have gained a lot. They chatted and laughed as they moved forward. Deng Shun and Qi Xiaoxue were each dragging a corpse of an eternal barbarian demonic beast. These 2 eternal barbarian demonic beasts were powerful existences in the 4th layer of the true spirit realm when they were alive. Unfortunately, they had now become the spoils of war for Qi Xiaoxue and the rest. Qi Xiaoxue's actions were different from Long Yu's. She had a detailed plan in advance and probably knew all about the eternal barbarian demonic beasts. Moreover, Qi Xiaoxue's target was the nest of the eternal barbarian demonic beasts. Even if the eternal barbarian demonic beasts sensed that someone was coming to encircle them, they would not escape and would definitely fight with all their might. Using this point, Qi Xiaoxue could lead the team to annihilate the entire nest of the eternal barbarian demonic beasts. Long Yu looked from afar. The eternal barbarian demonic beasts looked like a white-furred monkey. However, they had extremely long arms and a pair of eye-catching fangs, making them look extremely ferocious. Long Yu did not want to meet with Qi Xiaoxue and the rest, so he decided to go around them and go ahead first. After all, Qi Xiaoxue and the rest were dragging the corpses of the eternal barbarian demonic beasts, so their speed was not very fast. However, just as Long Yu wanted to take a detour, even though he was 1,000 zhang away, he was finally discovered by the other party. Although Qi Xiaoxue and the rest were also at LV3 of the true spirit realm, they were much more alert than the 5 people that Long Yu had been following. When they saw Long Yu, Qi Xiaoxue and the rest seemed to be arguing with each other. Then, Long Yu saw the 6 of them running towards him almost at the same time. Long Yu squinted his eyes, not knowing what they were trying to do. However, he did not back down. He did not want to meet with them because he wanted to save time. However, if they came looking for trouble, Long Yu would not be afraid of them. Although Qi Xiaoxue and Deng Shun were each dragging a LV4 eternal barbarian demonic beasts, which was a strong deterrent, it was nothing to Long Yu. Long Yu was sure that this group of people had definitely used a strategy to divide the strength of the eternal barbarian demonic beasts. In other words, Deng Shun and the rest were not very strong. At least, it was impossible for them to deal with 2 LV4 true spirit realm cultivators at the same time. Moreover, even if Long Yu was no match for them, they would not be able to catch up with him if he tried to escape. What Long Yu was most interested in was to see what kind of attitude Feng Yao had towards him. The distance between them was only hundreds of feet. In just a few breaths, they were not far away from Long Yu. "Little brother Long, let's go." Qi Xiaoxue was the first to speak when they were still a short distance away. There was a hint of anxiety in her voice. However, it was too late at this moment. Under the order of Lord Yi of the Star Sea, if you see Long Yu, kill him without mercy. Deng Shun threw the eternal barbarian demonic beast's corpse aside and shouted at Long Yu with a fierce look in his eyes. The next moment, other than Qi Xiaoxue and Feng Yao, the other 4 people surrounded Long Yu from 4 directions, their eyes flashing with a fierce look. It was an order to kill him. Long Yu's eyes narrowed. He had never imagined that this group of people would rush over without stopping. They were here to kill him. Feng Yao stood not far away, her eyes filled with indifference, as if she did not know Long Yu. However, Long Yu subconsciously thought that Feng Yao might have hooked up with the Star Sea Yiluan and asked the Star Sea Yiluan to give the order to kill him. Just thinking about it, Long Yu felt that it was highly possible. Chapter 153. In the Ghost Valley filled with dense demon qi, Long Yu was surrounded by 4 people, including Deng Shun. They were about to execute the order to kill one of the 7 disaster stars, Xinghai Yiluan. Qi Xiaoxue, on the other hand, was anxiously standing nearby. Feng Yao stood beside her with a cold expression on her face. Seeing that Long Yu was surrounded by 4 people, his expression did not change at all. This made Qi Xiaoxue feel a little relieved. Could it be that he still had the confidence to win in such a situation? Qi Xiaoxue did not believe it. After all, Long Yu was only at LV2 of the true spirit realm. No matter how powerful he was, it was already amazing that he could deal with Deng Shun at the same time. But now, he was surrounded by 4 experts at LV3 of the true spirit realm, including Deng Shun. Qi Xiaoxue had just broken through from LV2 to LV3 of the true spirit realm, so she was very clear about the difference in strength between the two. Even if Long Yu had a considerable advantage in terms of combat weapons and martial skills, it was absolutely impossible for him to deal with 4 opponents with a higher cultivation than him. However, Qi Xiaoxue was not too nervous. After all, Long Yu had taken the head of old General Man Yi from the ancient Ming Kingdom's military camp by himself. Qi Xiaoxue believed that Long Yu must have his own way to escape. Of course, he did not expect that Long Yu was not planning to escape at all. Long Yu stood in the middle of Deng Shun and the other 3 people, his eyes calm. He was very clear that he was facing 4 experts at the same level as Elder Shui Yun. Once upon a time, he could only look up to experts at this level, but now he could kill the Stone-Howled Draconic Rhinoceros and the Ghost Valley Snake disciples all by himself. These 2 LV4 true spirit realm demonic beasts each had the strength to fight against Deng Shun and the other 3. This gave Long Yu a lot of confidence, and the foundation of this confidence, of course, came from absolute strength. Among the 4 people surrounding Long Yu, Deng Shun, the bare-chested tough man, wore a rock belt around his waist, which was obviously a middle spiritual level combat weapon. As for the other 3, one of them held 2 hammers in his hands and looked incredibly ferocious. The other one had a broken arm, and his eyes were bloodshot. He looked the craziest. The last person wore a pointy paper hat and looked rather comical. However, it was this person who gave Long Yu the most dangerous feeling. Just like that, 4 experts surrounded Long Yu. Deng Shun snorted coldly and seemed to want to say something. However, Long Yu naturally wouldn't waste his breath on him. Since you've given the order to kill, I'll make the first move. Those who strike first gain the upper hand, and those who strike last suffer the consequences. This sentence was an irrefutable truth most of the time. A cold glint flashed in Long Yu's eyes. Taking advantage of the moment when Deng Shun still wanted to say something, he swept his spear horizontally towards Deng Shun, drawing numerous spear shadows in the air. Layers of spear shadows, accompanied by a tyrannical heaven-suppressing pressure, shrouded Deng Shun, causing his expression to change slightly. This move of Long Yu's condensed heaven-suppressing domain was actually comparable to a LV3 true spirit realm expert. Deng Shun didn't expect Long Yu to take the initiative to attack without saying a word. Even more so, he didn't expect Long Yu's casual attack to be so tyrannical. The rock belt around his waist was instantly activated. It flew up and actually condensed into a layer of rock barrier, blocking Long Yu's terrifying spear shadows. The middle spiritual level combat weapon, under the control of an LV3 true spirit realm expert, was extremely powerful and easily blocked Long Yu's attack. Then, without giving Long Yu any time to react, the one-armed red-eyed man's eyes flashed with a murderous glint. He waved his hands and instantly drew a blood-red cross, attacking Long Yu in an instant. I'd like to see how strong the attack of an LV3 true spirit realm expert is. Long Yu's eyes flickered with a sharp light. Facing the one-armed red-eyed man's blood-red cross, he didn't dodge or evade. Instead, he straightened his back and faced it head-on. It looked like he wanted to use his physical body to resist this martial skill filled with dense killing intent. This scene shocked Deng Shun, Qi Xiaoxue, Feng Yao, and the other 3. No matter who it was, no one would have thought that Long Yu would actually do such a thing. It's over. Even I would have to use all my strength to block that blood-red cross. Little brother Long actually wants to use his body to block it. Qi Xiaoxue was stunned. Feng Yao, who was watching calmly, also revealed a slightly surprised expression at this moment. After not seeing each other for so long, Long Yu's martial Dao realm had increased a lot, but it seemed like his courage had increased even more. He was only at LV2 True Spirit Realm, and he wanted to use his body to resist the murderous blood-red cross. He was simply courting death. You want to use your body to block my blood-red cross? You must be tired of living. The one-armed red-eyed man snorted and his murderous aura spread. But with the Starseed Leaf Sect's order to kill, you won't be able to live past today. As his voice fell, the blood-red cross fell like a sharp blade and stabbed into Long Yu's shoulder. However, at this moment, something shocking happened. A destructive lightning bolt flashed out from Long Yu's shoulder and completely destroyed the blood-red cross. A violent burst of heavenly lightning energy instantly erupted. Thunderbolt Tyrant Body explode. Long Yu shouted, and the thunderbolt profundity that he had comprehended shrouded the one-armed red-eyed man. In an instant, he was surrounded by countless heavenly lightning. No matter which direction the one-armed red-eyed man tried to escape in, he would be bombarded by endless heavenly lightning. If he stood still, he would be destroyed by all the heavenly lightning. Facing an expert in the level 3 True Spirit Realm, Long Yu only needed a thought to use the Thunderbolt Profundity to put him in a desperate situation. Save me. The one-armed red-eyed man was alarmed when he felt the terrifying heavenly lightning energy surrounding him. The power of the heavenly lightning energy was too terrifying. If he relied on his own strength, he would definitely die under the destructive power of the heavenly lightning energy. Although his opponent was only a kid in the level 2 True Spirit Realm, the one-armed red-eyed man had no choice but to ask for help. "I'll help you." The mighty man with the twin hammers immediately let out a loud roar and charged towards the one-armed red-eyed man. He raised the twin hammers, his hands up high, and unleashed a burst of violent power of the world in an attempt to resist Long Yu's thunderous charm. However, the difference between their levels was too great. The mighty man with the twin hammers did not know that the law that he had comprehended was only the lowest Yellowstone law. However, the Thunderbolt law that Long Yu had comprehended was an earthly seal law that was 2 levels higher. The difference between each level of law was like the difference between heaven and earth. Not to mention, the mighty man with the twin hammers was 2 levels lower than Long Yu's law. In an instant, not only was the destructive power of the Thunderbolt not shattered by the mighty man with the twin hammers, but it even rebounded towards the mighty man with the twin hammers. In an instant, it went from threatening one person to threatening 2. Whether it was the one-armed red-eyed man or the mighty man with the twin hammers, their expressions changed. Oh no! The power of the heavenly lightning energy was too strong. Even with their combined strength, they could not resist it. Not far away, Qi Xiaoxue and Feng Yao's faces changed drastically when they saw this scene. They never imagined that Long Yu's battle prowess would grow to such a level. No wonder Long Yu did not run away when they surrounded him. He had absolute confidence in his own strength. Now, Long Yu looked like he could kill a level 3 True Spirit Realm cultivator like a dog. Feng Yao's heart skipped a beat when she saw this scene. She realized that although she knew that Long Yu was extremely talented, she had still underestimated him. Long Yu's talent and potential were too shocking. No matter what, Long Yu's performance in today's battle was enough to leave a shadow in Feng Yao's heart. If Long Yu did not die, this shadow would not disappear and would become an obstacle in Feng Yao's path of martial arts. I must kill him. Feng Yao's eyes flashed with a murderous light. Now that she had a chance to rise again, she would not allow Long Yu, who used to be trash, to surpass her again. As a ferocious glint flashed in Feng Yao's eyes, the mysterious man in the pointy hat suddenly disappeared. In the next moment, he actually appeared behind Long Yu. "Your heart has already stopped beating," the mysterious man with the pointy paper hat said in a hoarse voice. The law that he had mastered was stronger than ordinary martial cultivators and was called the Magic Law. And he had completely mastered the domain of the Magic Law. Once the magic domain was displayed, he could do whatever he wanted in this area. including stopping his opponent's heart at will. It's a mysterious jade-level law, the magic law. Long Yu's heart trembled as he felt a mysterious power seeping into his heart, causing his entire body to tremble. But immediately after, his heart that had been tempered by the heavenly thunder burst out with a terrifying thunder light, instantly shattering the magic domain that had invaded his body. Sensing this scene, the mysterious man in the pointy paper hat froze for a moment. His entire mind was assaulted by the law of nightmare lightning. The destructive power of the nightmare thunder was not only a destructive threat to a martial cultivator's body, it was also a strong deterrent to a person's mind. Lunar concept, withering swamp concept. In just one move, Long Yu had completely suppressed Deng Shun and the other three without using any moves. Then, he released the lunar concept and withering swamp concept. The power of endless frost and the power of the withering swamp concept instantly enveloped the four of them. Originally, they were already unable to resist the power of the nightmare thunder charm. Now that the power of the three laws had arrived, the four of them almost collapsed at the same time. Including the heaven-suppressing domain, Long Yu released a total of 4 laws, which could easily suppress a level 3 true spirit realm cultivator. Reverse, scale, tentacle, kill. Long Yu shouted and stabbed out with his spear, instantly shattering Deng Shun's heart and causing it to stop beating. Chapter 154. Deng Shun's eyes widened as his heart was shattered by Long Yu's spear. He had never expected such a result. Originally, he thought that even if he could not kill Long Yu this time, he could at least show his sincerity by completing the Starsea Leaf Sect's order to kill everyone. After all, with their combined strength, they could even fight against an expert at the 4th level of the true spirit realm. How could they be defeated by a brat at the 2nd level of the true spirit realm? At the very least, the brat would have escaped. How could he have imagined that Long Yu had already killed 2 powerful demonic beasts at the 4th level of the true spirit realm by himself? And because they had underestimated their enemy, even at the moment of Deng Shun's death, the 4 of them were not able to use their best techniques to deal with Long Yu. With Deng Shun's death, Long Yu's destructive thunderbolt divine charm finally swept out. The 9 Abyss Dragon Spear in his hand heavily swept out, bringing with it a terrifying flash of lightning. A destructive power suddenly erupted, and the remaining 3 people were already flustered by the divine charm of lightning. At this moment, they didn't even have the slightest ability to resist. Even the Ghost Valley Snake disciple, who had condensed his true spirit into a physical body, would not be able to withstand the explosive power of the Thunderbolt divine charm, let alone the 3 martial cultivators at the 3rd level of the true spirit realm. Whether it was the one-armed red-eyed man, the powerful man with the twin hammers, or the mysterious man with the pointy paper hat, they were all enveloped by the Thunderbolt divine charm at the same time. The destructive power shattered the meridians of the 3 people at the same time. Under the intertwining of Long Yu's 4 levels of law, the people at the 3rd level of the true spirit realm could not resist at all. There was no need for any other techniques. Just the Thunderbolt divine charm was enough to kill them. The power of the Earth Seal Grade Law is indeed extraordinary. Long Yu's eyes flashed. He had a more accurate understanding of the power he had mastered. Previously, although he had used this power to kill the Stone-Howling Rhinoceros and the Ghost Valley Snake disciple, they were, after all, demonic beasts. Long Yu had not fought with a 4th level true spirit realm martial cultivator before. But now, Long Yu was sure that even if he were to face a rank 4 true spirit realm martial cultivator, he would be able to fight against him. Even if he wasn't a match for Yu Qianning, he would at least be invincible. From this perspective, the current Long Yu shouldn't lose to the Yu Qianning from 3 months ago. Of course, as Long Yu improved, so did Yu Qianning. At this point in time, no one knew what realm Yu Qianning had reached or what kind of strength she possessed. Long Yu held the 9 Yu Dragon Spear in his hand and stood proudly. He looked around and saw that the 2 hammer-wielding man, the one-armed red-eyed man, and the mysterious man wearing the pointy paper hat had all fallen to the ground at the same time. However, he frowned slightly, as if he sensed that something was wrong. Right at this moment, a tender shout suddenly came from behind him. Sneak attack. Long Yu's face darkened. When he heard the shout, he knew that Feng Yao, who was watching the battle, wanted to sneak attack him. Miss Feng, stop. Another shout was heard almost at the same time. Then, Qi Xiaoxue, who was wearing a brown fur coat, quickly flashed behind Long Yu. A shockwave erupted from Long Yu's back, following which the two figures separated. Feng Yao wanted to take the opportunity to sneak attack and kill Long Yu. However, Qi Xiaoxue also helped at the crucial moment and stopped Feng Yao. The two of them stood behind Long Yu, facing each other. Long Yu turned around and saw Qi Xiaoxue's sturdy body blocking behind him, facing Feng Yao, who was wearing a light green dress. Qi Xiaoxue was holding a supreme spiritual level long sword combat weapon in her hand, and her eyes were filled with killing intent. Miss Feng, although I, Qi Xiaoxue, am not a big shot, I know that you and Brother Long have the same father. Qi Xiaoxue said with a serious expression. What's the reason for such a fratricide? Her words struck a chord in Long Yu's heart. Long Yu really did not think that he had offended Feng Yao to the extent that she wanted to kill him at every turn. Brother Qi is right. Feng Yao, back at Jade Gate City, you sent a servant of the Feng clan to kill me. I have yet to settle the score with you. Long Yu said indifferently, I didn't expect you to hook up with that Xinghai Yi Luan and want my life. I don't understand. What kind of grudge do you have against me? What do you know? Feng Yao harumphed coldly. Holding the supreme spiritual level combat weapon, she glared at Long Yu and said, If it wasn't for you, Long Yu, would my father and mother have to part ways like this? Hearing this, Long Yu frowned slightly. Feng Chang'e and Liu Yu parted ways? What did that have to do with him, Long Yu? Feng Yao, I've never had any relationship with your mother, and I've never said anything to foster father. How come I didn't know that I was the cause of your mother and father's separation? Long Yu said indifferently with a hint of mockery in his tone. In fact, just by looking at Feng Yao's expression, Long Yu already knew everything. Feng Yao and her mother had always been against him because they were jealous. You still dare to say it? Feng Yao yelled. If it wasn't for you, why would my father put all his energy into taking care of you and alienate my mother and me? If it wasn't for you, why would my father and my mother break off completely and separate from each other until now? Isn't this your responsibility? Oh, Long Yu's eyes flashed with mockery. When did foster father alienate you? When you came back from the ice gate and asked for the bronze ancient sword, foster father gave it to you without hesitation. As for the complete break between you and foster father, don't you think about what you were doing when foster father was injured by Feng Yin? At this point, Long Yu took a step forward and rebuked mercilessly. At that time, you were celebrating Feng Yun becoming the head of the Feng family. You were celebrating someone who had injured your own father and husband. Feng Yao's face instantly turned red when she heard this, but she immediately retorted. Feng Yun had already defeated me and my father, so it was only natural that he became the head of the family. You still haven't figured out where you went wrong? Long Yu sneered. What does it have to do with you whether Feng Yun became the head of the family or not? No matter what, he was the one who injured foster father. Not only did you not take care of foster father, but you also went to celebrate with your enemy. If word of this gets out, you'll become a laughing stock. These words immediately gave Qi Xiaoxue a rough idea of what had happened. She couldn't help but feel a little shocked. This Feng Yao and her mother seemed to have gone too far. Furthermore, it's not like foster father didn't give you a chance. Long Yu laughed coldly and continued. At that time, I said that anyone who was willing to stay and fight for the Feng family was a member of the new Feng family. However, you and your mother turned around and left. Were you the ones who abandoned foster father, or did he abandon you? Feng Yao, why don't you tell me what happened? Hearing this, Feng Yao immediately wanted to refute. Didn't she come back and agree to Wang Tianjue's marriage proposal, saving the Feng family from disaster? However, she couldn't bring herself to say the words. This was because she knew that even if she hadn't returned at that time, the top core disciple of the Jintian clan, had been there. Long Yu and Feng Chang'e wouldn't have been at a disadvantage no matter what. Seeing that Feng Yao was speechless, Long Yu couldn't be bothered to say anything else. This was the truth. No matter what he said, it wouldn't change anything. The only thing he could do now was to teach Feng Yao a lesson. Feng Yao, my foster father once told me that if I were to meet you again in the future, he hoped that I would spare your life. Now, I'll fulfill my promise to foster father and let you leave. Long Yu's face was cold. But before you leave, you have to leave your combat weapon behind. Feng Yao had tried to kill him once again. Of course, he wouldn't let her leave without doing anything. Even if he had to fulfill his promise to Feng Chang'e, he wouldn't allow himself to be at a disadvantage. A transcendent spiritual grade combat weapon was worth at least 5,000 crystal coins. It was definitely a great fortune. Feng Yao's face turned ashen when she heard Long Yu's words. He wanted her to leave her transcendent spiritual grade combat weapon behind and run for her life. She had the Galaxy Leaf Wheel as her background, but now she was being threatened by a Stage 2 True Spirit Realm kid to hand over her combat weapon and run for her life. Feng Yao subconsciously wanted to draw her sword and continue attacking Long Yu. However, her rationality told her that she was no match for Long Yu. Even though she had recently encountered the Starsea Leaf Wheel and obtained its help, allowing her to rise from the 8th stage of the Martial Dao to the 2nd stage of the True Spirit Realm and obtain a Spirit Grade Transcendent Grade Sword. Long Yu's improvement was even faster than hers. Long Yu held the 9 Nether Dragon Spear in his hand as his body emitted an endless murderous aura. Surrounding him were the corpses of Deng Shun and the other 3. The entire scene made Long Yu's aura tremble. This scene had completely stunned Feng Yao. Feng Yao gritted her teeth, unwilling to give up. However, she finally threw the transcendent spiritual grade sword at Long Yu's feet. Feng Yao then turned sideways and quickly left the Sky Soul Ghost Valley's entrance. Little brother Long, you're really amazing. Qi Xiaoxue could not help but smile bitterly when she saw the dust settle. She did not know what to say about Long Yu. In the end, she could only say one word: amazing. Brother Qi, thank you for your help. Long Yu smiled. Little brother Long, you're wrong. With your strength, even if I, Qi Xiaoxue, were not here, you would not be in any danger, let alone help. Qi Xiaoxue laughed as she shook her head. If it wasn't for you, I would have definitely killed Feng Yao just now. In this way, I would not be able to face foster father, Long Yu just said. Then, he said indifferently, however, this is the only time. If there is a next time, I will not let Feng Yao go. She is now a member of the Galaxy Leaf Wheel Force and has a strong backing. I'm afraid she will not give up so easily. Qi Xiaoxue's expression turned solemn. Let's wait and see. Long Yu let out a soft chuckle. He did not mind it. If that's the case, I, Qi Xiaoxue, will take my leave. Little brother Long, we'll meet again. Qi Xiaoxue brought her fists together and bowed, before she turned around and left on her own. It was obvious that she had given everything she had gained from the trip to Long Yu. This was obviously a good thing for Long Yu. The weapons that Deng Shun and the other 3 possessed, as well as the corpses of Changman's beasts, were all worth a fortune. Chapter 155. After Qi Xiaoxue left, only Long Yu was left to clean up the mess. Feng Yao's supreme spiritual level longsword was not only of a high grade, but more importantly, it was a combat weapon. If he brought it back to Mixing Sound City, it would definitely attract a lot of people, and he would be able to sell it at a higher price than a normal supreme spiritual level combat weapon. For Long Yu, a combat weapon was useless to him, since he had never practiced swordsmanship before. On the contrary, he needed to improve his martial arts realm the most. He would exchange all the things he obtained for elixirs or demonic beast cores to improve his martial arts realm. Apart from Feng Yao's supreme spiritual level longsword, Deng Shun and the other 3 also had a lot of middle and lower spiritual level combat weapons. In addition, They had more than 10 eternal barbarian demonic beasts inner cores, 2 of which were middle spiritual level. Although they were not as valuable as the Stone Howl Rhinoceros and the Ghost Valley Snake disciples that Long Yu had killed, it was better than nothing. Besides, Long Yu had stuffed the 2 eternal barbarian demonic beast corpses into the 9 nether space, which had completely filled up the space. There was no more space for anything else. It's time to go back. This is a rewarding trip. Long Yu smiled and thought to himself with satisfaction. Although it had only been 7 days, he had gained a lot. If he could gain so much in every 7 days, it would not be impossible for him to advance to LV3 of the true spirit realm in a month. Of course, he had less than a month left, and it would take at least a few days to get back from Mixing Sound City. If there were no accidents, he would have to go back earlier than expected. After packing everything, he took the 9 nether dragon spear and set off. The lunar wings on his back spread out, and the 9 nether lines were activated. Long Yu turned into a gray ray of light and quickly moved toward the entrance of the Ghost Valley. However, he did not know that not long after he left, Deng Shun and the other 3 who were supposed to be dead coughed at the same time, and then stood up one after another. That was close. I didn't expect this guy to be so strong. Deng Shun stood up. Even now, he still felt some lingering fear. Although all their spoils of war had been taken away by Long Yu, it didn't matter if they were gone. As long as they were alive, they would be able to take revenge one day. If it weren't for Brother Tu Yi's magic domain, we wouldn't have been able to fool that kid. The one-armed red-eyed man said with lingering fear. The blood-red color in his eyes finally dissipated. His name was Qi Shui, the mysterious man wearing the pointy paper hat. Tu Yi, who had mastered the magic domain, also stood up at this time and looked in the direction where Long Yu had left. Report this matter to Lord Xinghai. Long Yu's strength is extraordinary. Tu Yi pressed down on the pointy paper hat on his head and said in a hoarse voice. His black robe fluttered in the wind, appearing extremely mysterious. The remaining man with the hammers was called Kong Xingyou. At this moment, he stood up and bowed to Tu Yi. He said gratefully, "Thank you, Brother Tu. We're all on the same side. There's no need to be polite. The most important thing now is to report what happened here to Lord Xinghai." A murderous look flashed in Deng Shun's eyes. He must kill Long Yu in this life. In addition, that Qi Xiaoxue, as Deng Shun's friend, stood on Long Yu's side at the critical moment and watched them be killed by Long Yu. That Qi Xiaoxue would also be their enemy in the future. Long Yu never thought that the laws of heaven and earth in this world would be so magical. The magic domain actually covered up the fact that the 4 of them were still alive, making Long Yu think that they were already dead. Of course, even if that wasn't the case, the matter here would definitely be known by Xinghai Yilun. After all, Long Yu let Feng Yao go. He was already prepared to be targeted by Xinghai Yilun again. Not long after, the entrance to the Sky Soul Ghost Valley appeared in front of Long Yu. This place, after 7 days, was still the same as when he entered. Many martial cultivators of the pugilistic world gathered again, preparing to form a small team to step into the Sky Soul Ghost Valley and risk their lives to hunt demonic beasts. These martial cultivators of the pugilistic world were risking their lives, and what they wanted was to improve their cultivation faster. If they did not risk their lives like this, they could only be under the experts of other big clans and sects for the rest of their lives. No matter who it was, they all had the heart to become stronger. Long Yu did not care about anyone. His figure quickly passed through the Sky Soul Ghost Valley. If he had the chance, he would come back to this place again. However, the things that he had already obtained had to be dealt with first. Seeing that Long Yu came out of the Sky Soul Ghost Valley alone, although many people raised their eyebrows, they were not as surprised as when they saw him barging into the Sky Soul Ghost Valley alone. There were not many people who entered the Sky Soul Ghost Valley alone, but there were many who came out alone. They must have encountered danger in the Sky Soul Ghost Valley. Their companions must have died, and only one of them managed to escape. Long Yu did not care about how the others looked at him. He walked straight into the Sky Soul Forest. At this point, he was only a short distance away from the Mixed Sound City. Halfway through his journey, he suddenly realized that there was a conflict in front of him, which had attracted many people to watch. Long Yu initially did not want to care about anything else. However, when he was about to leave, he suddenly noticed a black dress in the crowd. It was Yin Huanma. The elder of the Jintian clan, Yin Huanma, had helped Long Yu a lot when he first arrived at the Mixed Sound City. However, she had never told him why she had come to the Mixed Sound City. However, Yin Huanma seemed to have gotten into a conflict with someone, which attracted a large group of martial cultivators to watch. A light flickered in Long Yu's eyes. Since it was Yin Huanma's matter, he could not ignore it. No matter what, Long Yu's current strength was comparable to Yin Huanma's. He was qualified to intervene in a matter of this level. Of course, that was only what he knew. In fact, in the eyes of the others, he was only a lad in the second layer of the true spirit secret realm. There was a huge gap between him and Yin Huanma. Long Yu naturally did not care about how the others looked at him. He ran in the direction of the crowd, and soon saw Yin Huanma confronting another group of people in the middle of the crowd. There were a total of 3 people. One of them was wearing a brocade robe. His face was filled with mockery and greed. He kept looking at the figure under Yin Huanma's dress. It was obvious that he was up to something. This person was in the 3rd layer of the true spirit secret realm. However, he seemed to be the leader of the other 2. As for the other 2, one of them was a young man holding a folding fan. His movements were elegant and his temperament was noble. However, the flattery in his eyes revealed his true nature. The other person was a boorish man wearing a large stone pendant. His eyes were flickering with murderous intent. This person is dangerous. Long Yu narrowed his eyes and glanced at the boorish man. He could easily sense that this person's murderous intent was very strong. He must have killed countless people, be it the flattering young man with the folding fan or the boorish man wearing the large stone pendant. They were both in the 4th layer of the true spirit secret realm. They were on par with Yin Huanma. Yin Huanma might not be their match in a 2-against-1 fight. Miss Yin, I think you should follow my young master. We'll be on the same side in the future. I don't want to kill you. The boorish man said in a deep voice. The murderous intent emitted from his body had even shrouded Yin Huanma. Wenze, you've disappointed me. Yin Huanma stood there quietly. Even though she was in danger, her eyes were filled with calmness. The more dangerous the situation was, the more calm one had to be. Long Yu rather admired Yin Huanma's performance. Yin Huanma's Wenze was obviously addressing the flattering young man with the folding fan. Wenze harumphed coldly upon hearing this. Whether you're disappointed or not, from today onwards, you'll be young Master Yuchi's woman. Wenze waved the folding fan in his hand and said in a flattering tone, Yin Huanma, you should feel honored to be young Master Yuchi's woman. With these words, coupled with the whispers of the surrounding spectators, Long Yu quickly understood what was going on. It turned out that Yin Huanma had come here because of Wenze's invitation. Obviously, Yin Huanma and Wenze were old acquaintances. However, Yin Huanma didn't know that Wenze had already become young Master Yuchi's lackey, and he'd actually used the invitation to ambush her with the intention of forcefully taking her away. Young Master Yuchi, who was dressed in brocade, was Yuchi Tao, the young master of the Yuchi family, one of the 4 big families in the Tang Empire's imperial city. Yuchi Tao's eyes were filled with greed and desire. He kept staring at Yin Huanma as if this woman was already lying on his bed. If you want to fight, let's fight. Cut the crap. Yin Huanma could not help but feel disgusted when she saw the faces of Wenze and Yuchi Tao. She could not figure out how there could be such disgusting people in this world. I'll fulfill your wish, the rude man said in a deep voice. Then he took a step forward. He didn't seem to make any extra movements, but he simply threw a punch. The punch was extremely fast and reached Yin Huanma in an instant. Heaven-suppressing field. Yin Huanma quickly retreated and released a tyrannical heaven-suppressing field at the same time, causing the rude man's movements to slow down. How dare you compete with me with a mere Yellowstone law? The rude man laughed crudely and then released a terrifying and strange field power, shattering Yin Huanma's heaven-suppressing field in an instant. This person knows about the difference in the grades of laws? Long Yu's brows slightly furrowed, but he quickly relaxed. In that case, the difference in the grades of laws was not a secret in the eyes of high-level martial cultivators. At this time, Long Yu, of course, could not watch Yin Huanma be bullied. Long Yu did not say a word. He spread the lunar wings on his back and turned into a grayish-black flowing light. He instantly flashed behind the rude man. 9 Nether Dragon Spear, reverse scale touch. Long Yu shouted in his heart and swept the spear in his hand. Accompanied by the power of the Thunderbolt charm, the spear tip flashed and approached the rude man's back in the blink of an eye. Long Yu did not say a word and launched a sudden attack. At this time, it did not matter what method he used, as long as he could get rid of the other party. Chapter 156. The rude man's heart skipped a beat when Long Yu launched a sneak attack with his spear. As a matter of fact, he had been through countless battles and had been on guard against Yin Huanma's sudden ambush. However, he had not expected the one to launch a sneak attack on him would be a mere second-layer true spirit realm cultivator. He has the courage to do so. It seems like the temptation of beauty is unstoppable. The rude man let out a cold laugh. However, he soon sensed the terrifying destructive force from Long Yu's spear. As the destructive force approached him, he could no longer ignore the attack. He had no choice but to stop attacking Yin Huanma. He leaned to the side and threw out the stone pendant on his chest, instantly blocking the tip of Long Yu's spear. With a loud bang, the force from both sides exploded, resulting in a violent gust of wind that pushed them back a few steps. The rude man took 5 steps back as his eyes flickered with astonishment. Although Long Yu was forced back 10 steps and lost in the clash, to be able to force the boorish man to retreat 5 steps was already not an easy feat. This second-layer true spirit realm cultivator was not simple. The same thought appeared in the minds of many martial cultivators who were watching the battle. However, they quickly concluded that no matter how strong the kid was, his martial art realm was only the second-layer true spirit realm. The gap between their cultivation levels was insurmountable. He could only rely on sneak attacks to gain a slight advantage. How can a mere second-layer true spirit realm cultivator like you interfere in a battle between experts? Seeing Long Yu's sneak attack had forced the rude man to take 5 steps back, when Zay, who was holding a folding fan, let out a cold laugh and put away his folding fan. I'll teach you a lesson on behalf of Brother Liu. I'll let you know that you should mind your own business. As he spoke, his white-robed silhouette stepped towards Long Yu. His steps were extremely light and quick. Immediately after, a domain power that Long Yu was incomparably familiar with descended from the sky and enveloped him. Heaven's suppressing domain. Long Yu's expression changed. This fan-wielding youth, Wen Zhe, had actually released his heaven-suppressing domain. Could it be that Wen Zhe was once a disciple of the Jinqian clan? Long Yu, be careful. Yin Huanma had been worried ever since he saw Long Yu. His heart skipped a beat when he saw Wen Zhe attacking Long Yu. Long Yu was clearly only at the 2nd rank of the true spirit secret realm. How dare he participate in her battle? If Long Yu died here, the Jinqian clan would be at a disadvantage in the martial arts competition of the 7 sects. They might even lose all hope. Yin Huanma had also guessed that it was impossible for him to fight against Yu Qianing on foot. In order to defeat Yu Qianing, he could only rely on Long Yu. However, did Long Yu have the strength to fight against an expert at the 4th rank of the true spirit secret realm? Yin Huanma did not dare to be careless and immediately tried to help. However, the boorish man laughed wildly and blocked Yin Huanma's way. Your opponent is me. The boorish man laughed madly as he smashed his fist forward, and it carried the might of boundless domain energy as it smashed towards Yin Huanma. Yin Huanma could not ignore his attack. At this moment, she could only stop to defend against the boorish man's attack. However, most of her attention was on Long Yu. Wen-Zhe released his heaven-suppressing domain to suppress Long Yu. He then waved his fan and used it as a sword, condensing countless heavenly might sword chi. It was the heavenly might sword skill. Long Yu's heart skipped a beat. This Wen-Zhe seemed to be a disciple of the Jintian clan. However, why hadn't he heard of him before? No matter what, the only path he could take now was to defeat Wen-Zhe. Otherwise, it wouldn't just be him. Even Yan Huanamo would become the plaything of that rich kid, Yu Chi-Tao. 10,000 kill. Long Yu swept out with the 9 Nether Dragon Spear in his hand. Instantly, his killing intent condensed and blocked the countless sword chi that Wen-Zhe had condensed. Nether Dragon Leap. Long Yu didn't stop at all. With a flick of his spear, he leaped 1,000 feet into the air. With the Nether Dragon in his hand, he used the reverse scale touch to descend from the sky towards Wen-Zhe. Unfortunately, Wen-Zhe's movements were extremely nimble. At this moment, with a flash, he had already jumped to the side, easily dodging Long Yu's attack. When Long Yu's spear stabbed into the ground, a loud bang was heard, and a burst of air and dust flew into the air, covering his figure. How stupid! Wen-Zhe let out a disdainful chuckle. Immediately after, a true spirit body of a black bear appeared behind him. With a roar, it actually scattered the flying dust around Long Yu. However, when the dust dispersed, Wen-Zhe saw the 9 Nether Dragon Spear, which was shining with a strange light, piercing through the air and attacking him. Naive, Wen-Zhe sneered, and the bear materialized behind him, charged forward. With a slap, the 9 Nether Dragon Spear was knocked away and stabbed into the ground. However, in the next moment, a wave of energy that caused Wen-Zhe's heart to palpitate suddenly enveloped his entire body. 9 Nether Dragon Fist, Reincarnation Awakening. Long Yu punched out and instantly sent Wen-Zhe into reincarnation, causing his martial arts realm to drop to LV3 of the true spirit realm. This horrifying phenomenon made Wen-Zhe's expression change greatly. What's going on? Why did my cultivation realm drop so suddenly? He subconsciously observed his bear materialized and found that it was still a materialized entity and not an illusion, so he was temporarily relieved. This drop in cultivation realm seemed to be an illusion. Chapter 157. Long Yu's heart skipped a beat when he saw Yan Huanma's series of moves. Ink Domain, Brush, and Ink True Spirit, paper combat weapons. All of this seemed so miraculous, causing Long Yu to be unable to help but sigh with emotion. There were a total of 9,000 types of laws of heaven and earth in this world. Wouldn't that mean that there were 9,000 different types of combat methods? If it was Long Yu, he would not be able to resist Yan Huanma's move. This was because he did not know the characteristics of Yan Huanma's move, nor did he know where the main point of attack was. Naturally, he would not know how to resist it. If it was Long Yu, he could only consider avoiding the move. However, at this moment, the boorish man who was facing this attack did not seem to have the same thoughts as Long Yu. He tore off the big stone pendant hanging on his neck, then released the mysterious jade-level domain power again and integrated it into the big stone pendant. Meteorite Law Domain. The rude man yelled. Facing Yan Huanma's attack, he had no choice but to go all out. The Meteorite Law contained another form of destructive power, and the source of the law domain he had comprehended was the big stone pendant hanging around his neck. The big stone turned out to be a meteorite from outer space. No wonder it was so hard. The meteorite domain, together with the meteorite itself and the meteorite true spirit behind the rude man, instantly erupted with a power stronger than Yan Huanma's. Break! The three combined into a terrifying white light, which instantly penetrated Yan Huanma's paper-drawing soldier. Even though the paper-drawing battle soldier was a spirit middle-grade weapon, it was completely destroyed by a single strike from the opponent. The two sides were clashing with the ultimate power of the fourth layer, true spirit secret realm. At this moment, Even Long Yu could not intervene. Otherwise, once he was involved in the battle, Long Yu would definitely not be able to resist. It seems that the rude man's attack is really strong. Even Elder Yan's paper-drawing soldier was shattered into pieces. Long Yu's heart skipped a beat as he watched the paper-drawing soldier get blasted into pieces by the white meteorite. Looks like it wasn't that this boorish man didn't have the strength, but after seeing Wen Zhe die in his, Long Yu's, hands without a client, he naturally wasn't willing to fight a meaningless battle. Unfortunately, since this person had destroyed Yin Huan Mo's battle weapon, Long Yu naturally wouldn't let him go. Since you've been entrusted to deal with Elder Yin, you should be prepared to be killed, Long Yu thought coldly in his heart. Taking advantage of the rude man's meteorite domain to resist Yin Huan's ink domain, he instantly condensed the netherworld chi with a punch. 9 Nether Dragon Fist, Reincarnation Awakening. The mysterious and strange samsara power instantly appeared out of nowhere and completely surrounded the boorish man. At this moment, the rough man's martial Dao realm temporarily fell to the 3rd level of the true spirit's secret realm. After shattering Yin Huan Mo's paper-drawing soldier, the white meteorite energy that erupted from his body attacked Yin Huan Mo's brush and ink true spirit. Both sides swiftly collided, and a terrifying airflow erupted. However, at this moment, the boorish man was suddenly struck into samsara, and his martial Dao realm fell by 1 level. Originally, Yin Huan Mo's brush and ink true spirit was slightly unable to resist the impact of the opponent's meteorite. But now, she suddenly felt the opponent's strength weaken. Of course, she wouldn't miss such a good opportunity. Brush and ink, break! Yin Huan Mo shouted, and the brush and ink true spirit instantly drew the word break in midair. Immediately after that, the word break instantly broke through all obstacles and attacked the boorish man. Brush and ink, protect! Yin Huanma immediately drew a protect character, and the protect character immediately blocked the weakened white meteorite in front of her, easily blocking it. Brush and ink, kill! As soon as Yin Huanmo drew the word kill, the killing intent in the surroundings instantly spread and completely enveloped the boorish man. When the word kill descended along with the color of ink, the boorish man finally felt slightly panicked. Most importantly, his martial Dao realm had fallen to the 3rd level of the true spirit's secret realm. Even though he could feel his cultivation recovering swiftly, Yin Huan Mo's word kill would definitely descend before he could recover. Go! The boorish man had no choice but to toss the large meteorite in his hand towards the word kill. The two collided in midair, and a powerful force erupted and instantly caused the surrounding space to tremble. After that, the boorish man waved his hand, and a white meteorite shot out. It instantly penetrated the color of ink in one direction and strode out of this expanse of space with the intention of fleeing. Trying to run? Long Yu grunted coldly. He'd predicted the boorish man's movements, and he slammed his fist against the ground. A gust of netherworld chi instantly condensed under the boorish man's path, and it exploded when he took a step forward. The terrifying netherworld chi instantly eroded the boorish man, and he let out a blood-curdling scream. Although the boorish man had only been paid to do this, he was trying to rob a woman, which could be considered a hooligan's behavior. Coupled with the strong killing intent, he must have killed a lot of people, even more than Long Yu. Long Yu would not feel the slightest bit guilty for killing him. 2 experts in the 4th level of the true spirit's secret realm had died under Long Yu's netherworld blast, which made the surrounding people's eyes widen in disbelief. However, at this time, the profound chi in Long Yu's body was almost exhausted. Even though he had tempered his dantian, and the recovery rate of the profound chi was much faster than that of an ordinary person, at this moment, it was still somewhat unable to keep up with the consumption. Run! Almost at this moment, Yuchi Tao of the Yuchi family finally realized that it was impossible for him to obtain Yin Huan Mo by himself. Although he was unwilling, he could only run away. A fierce light flashed in Long Yu's eyes. Just as he was about to chase after him, he saw that Yin Huan Mo seemed to be injured. She staggered and almost fell to the ground. Elder Yin, it was impossible for Long Yu to leave her behind to chase after an insignificant person. He immediately ran to Yin Huan Mo's side and supported her. "How are you?" "My true spirit is injured." Yin Huan Mo's voice was a little low, and it was obvious that she was injured. Long Yu suddenly remembered that she must have been injured when she used her pen and ink true spirit to resist the boorish man's meteorite white light. After the true spirit condensed into a physical body, although it was more than 10 times stronger, it was also more closely related to the martial cultivator. When the true spirit condensed into a physical body was injured, the martial cultivator's dantian would also be injured to a certain extent. If it was not for Long Yu's palm awakening samsara martial skill, which temporarily lowered the boorish man's martial Dao realm, Yin Huan Mo would have been seriously injured this time. Let's go back to Mixed Sound City to rest first. We'll talk about it later. Long Yu said in a deep voice. As he supported Yin Huan Mo, he looked around with a fierce glint in his eyes. "What are you looking at?" There were no experts of the true spirit realm among the surrounding martial cultivators. Moreover, even if there were experts of the true spirit realm, 2 of them had been killed by Long Yu. Long Yu's shout immediately made the martial cultivators scatter like birds and beasts. They did not dare to stay and watch anymore. He pondered for a while, then supported Yin Huan Mo and went to Wenze and the boorish man to search their corpses. Long Yu was in urgent need of elixirs and demonic beasts' inner cores to increase his strength. Therefore, he would not let go of any opportunity to obtain wealth. Soon he obtained the large meteorite that contained the mysterious jade-level law of heaven and earth, the high spiritual level folding fan combat weapon in Wenze's hand, and some other small things, which added up to 100 crystal coins. After all, Wenze was an expert of the true spirit realm, so he must have a lot of things. Wenze's property alone, including the folding fan combat weapon, was worth more than 1,000 crystal coins. The large meteorite from the boorish man must be even more valuable. After all, it contained the mysterious jade-level law of heaven and earth. After packing up, Long Yu finally left the scene with Yin Huan Mo and rushed toward Mixed Sound City. The battle just now made him more aware of the ever-changing fighting styles of martial arts practitioners on the Heavenly Mandate continent. Whether it was Yin Huanma's ink field or the Rude Man's meteorite field, they were all extremely unique. If Long Yu knew that Deng Shun and the other 3 people he had killed were still alive, he would probably have a deeper feeling about it. There were all kinds of laws on the Heavenly Mandate continent. 9,000 laws represented 9,000 different fighting styles, which were ever-changing and unpredictable. It was getting dark. Long Yu helped Yin Huan Mo stay in an inn in Mixed Sound City. On the way back, Long Yu finally figured out why Yin Huan Mo appeared in Mixed Sound City. It turned out that the obsequious young man named Wenze was a core disciple of the Jintian clan, just like Yin Huan Mo. The relationship between them was quite good. However, 5 years ago, Wenze disappeared mysteriously, which made many people feel sorry for him. After all, Wenze was extremely talented among the disciples of the Jintian clan. Yin Huan Mo had always been confused. Because of this, when Wenze invited her to Mixed Sound City to meet him, she easily agreed. She wanted to know why Wenze left the Jintian clan and how he was doing recently. However, as soon as she saw Wenze, she immediately knew that she had been fooled. Wenze had long been a lackey of the Yuchi family. Now, he had tricked her to come to Mixed Sound City just to deceive others and let young Master Yuchi Tao have her. After all, if they did something in a place like Mixed Sound City, the Jintian clan could do nothing about it, lest the Yuchi family made an enemy of the Jintian clan. Although the Yuchi family was not afraid of the Jintian clan, it would definitely be a big trouble if they provoked them. Under such circumstances, Yin Huan Mo fell into the trap easily. As for the boorish man, he was really hired, but he was just a martial cultivator from Jianghu with no background. Chapter 158. After leaving Yin Huan Mo to rest in the inn, Long Yu went out alone to take a look at the trading point. Not only did he need to get rid of all the demonic beast cores and combat weapons that he had obtained from the Ghost Valley, he also needed to find some healing elixirs for Yin Huan Mo that could heal the damage to his true spirit. There were many alchemists and weapon refiners living in the trading point of the Mixed Sound City. However, these alchemists and weapon refiners did not have good tempers, as most of them had been expelled from other countries or sections. Naturally, they had done some bad things. Otherwise, they would be able to live a more stable life, and they would not have to make a living in a place like Mixed Sound City. Long Yu wanted to get rid of the demonic beast corpses, so he decided to look for a few alchemists or weapon refiners to see if they were willing to pay a high price for the corpses. Soon, Long Yu found a luxuriously decorated loft. It was said that a powerful alchemist lived in it. Alchemists were mostly rich people, so their residences were naturally different from others. As soon as Long Yu stepped into the luxuriously decorated loft, a middle-aged man wearing a servant uniform stood at the door and glanced at Long Yu. "Kid, this is Alchemist Feng Hai's residence. It's not a place for people like you to come." That middle-aged servant had a look of disdain on his face. Hearing this, Long Yu could not help but frown. He looked at the middle-aged servant and realized that he was an expert of the rank 4 True Spirit Realm. Even the servant was at the rank 4 True Spirit Realm. This showed how influential alchemist Feng Hai was. Of course, this did not mean that alchemist Feng Hai's cultivation was higher than the middle-aged servant. After all, be it alchemists or weapon refiners, they were respected not because of their strength, but because of their skills in alchemy and weapon refinement. "I'm here to sell something." Long Yu was here to do business. If the other party did not want to do business with him, he would just leave. "Humph, what good stuff can a mere rank 2 True Spirit Realm brat have? Get lost. Alchemist Feng Hai does not have time to waste on you." The middle-aged servant had a look of disdain on his face as he chased Long Yu away like a fly. Seeing the other party's reaction, Long Yu lost interest in the matter. With a calm expression, he turned around and left. After all, this was the territory of a powerful alchemist. He did not want to cause any trouble. Even if the other party looked down on him, there was no need for him to say anything. After all, his martial arts realm was only at the 2nd rank of the True Spirit Realm. But when he turned to leave, the middle-aged servant suddenly yelled, "Stop! Is this a place where you can come and go as you please? Then what do you want?" Long Yu stood at the entrance of the luxurious loft and asked without turning his head. "Leave behind something, and you can leave," the middle-aged servant said sternly. "Or it's the thing you want to sell, or a part of your body. That's fine too. Lord Feng Hai needs this kind of material to refine pills." Robbery. Long Yu instantly understood what the middle-aged servant meant. Moreover, that alchemist Feng Hai actually needed a certain part of a martial cultivator to refine pills. Hands? Feet? Heart? Dantian? Long Yu did not know, but he knew that Feng Hai and this middle-aged servant were definitely not good people. Many martial cultivators who did not know the truth had already fallen into their hands. This made Long Yu's eyes flash with ferocity. If the other party did not want to provoke him, then he could just leave. But now, the other party wanted to rob him. If he continued to endure, then he would not be a man. Humph! Long Yu coldly snorted and strode out of the luxurious loft's entrance. He did not want to leave just like that. He wanted to lure the middle-aged servant out. Sure enough, when Long Yu stepped out of the loft, the middle-aged servant let out a stern shout and brazenly attacked him, chasing after him to kill him. "Since you do not give Lord Feng Hai any face, then leave your Dantian behind and become Lord Feng Hai's material to refine pills." The middle-aged servant bellowed, and his entire body transformed into a gust of wind as he attacked Long Yu. Long Yu had long expected that the other party would come. It was not like he had never killed a rank 4 True Spirit Realm expert before. Of course, this did not mean that Long Yu could fight the other party head-on. Alchemist Feng Hai's servant is going to kill someone. I only wanted to sell a demonic beast carcass. How dare they rob me and use my Dantian to refine pills? They want my life. As soon as Long Yu walked out of the loft, he shouted loudly. This shout immediately attracted the attention of everyone on the street. At the same time, at least hundreds of martial cultivators in the underworld looked over. Instantly, these martial cultivators started to discuss among themselves. Alchemist Feng Hai's servant is trying to rob other martial cultivators' things again. This alchemist Feng Hai dares to be so arrogant just because he has a powerful backer. In my opinion, sooner or later, he will kick an iron plate and suffer the consequences of his own actions. This little guy is really pitiful. He actually entered Alchemist Feng Hai's loft. His cultivation is only at rank 2 true spirit realm. It seems like he can't run away now. A group of people whispered and pointed at the middle-aged servant who had chased after them. No one in the entire Mixed Sound City dared to interfere in this matter. This was because Alchemist Feng Hai was the official alchemist of the biggest gang in Mixed Sound City. Anyone who offended Feng Hai would not be able to survive in Mixed Sound City. The middle-aged servant had a smug look on his face. He looked at Long Yu's back as if he was looking a little chick that was being toyed with. Scream all you want. Let's see who will care about you. You poor thing. Hand over your dantian obediently. The middle-aged servant's face was ferocious as he grabbed at Long Yu. However, he did not expect that Long Yu would counterattack at this moment. Furthermore, his counterattack was like a thunderbolt. Heaven-suppressing domain, withering swamp intent, lunar intent, thunderbolt profundity. A total of 4 types of laws were unleashed at the same time, accompanied by the appearance of the heaven-suppressing sun true spirit. The suppression of the heaven-suppressing domain instantly increased to an extremely terrifying level. The middle-aged servant did not expect Long Yu to have mastered 4 types of intents. His expression changed slightly when he felt his body's movements become twice as slow. However, his eyes immediately lit up with excitement. This kid looks so extraordinary. If I use his dantian to refine pills, it will definitely be extremely effective. If I offer him to Alchemist Feng Hai, he will definitely benefit from it. At this thought, the middle-aged servant's expression became completely fanatical. Kill! He let out a roar, and his murderous intent spread recklessly. However, at this moment, a gust of netherworld chi that seemed to come from the yellow springs enveloped his entire body. 9 nether dragon fist, awakening samsara palm, drunk lying in the yellow springs. The 2 moves were used by Long Yu consecutively. Instantly, the yellow springs path was paved, and the samsara ocean appeared. The middle-aged servant was instantly enveloped by the yellow springs samsara ocean. Not only did his martial Dao realm temporarily drop to LV3 of the True Spirit Secret Realm, he was also completely stunned and lost his consciousness. Long Yu accurately grasped the middle-aged servant's mentality. He shouted as he ran, but when the servant was at his most careless, he turned around and punched twice. At this moment, he had completely suppressed the servant. 9 nether explosive flow. Long Yu was already familiar with killing experts in LV4 of the True Spirit Secret Realm. Other than the 9 nether explosive flow, there was really no other way to completely kill an expert of this level. After all, the other party's martial Dao realm was 2 levels higher than his. If it wasn't for the top-grade spiritual martial skill, it would be impossible for him to kill the other party with just the 9 nether dragon spear and the spear technique that he cultivated. If he couldn't instantly kill the middle-aged servant while completely suppressing him, Long Yu would be in danger. Because of this, even if he had to expose his strength, he had to use all his strength to instantly kill the middle-aged servant. The 9 nether chi condensed into a pillar of chi, as if it was condensed from the yellow springs. Then, it spurted out from the ground and completely enveloped the middle-aged servant. The middle-aged servant, who was stunned by the yellow springs path, could only let out a miserable cry before he was corroded by the 9 nether chi and turned into a dried corpse, falling heavily to the ground. Let's go. Long Yu immediately sensed that many experts were rushing over from all directions. He could kill an expert in LV4 of the True Spirit Secret Realm by surprise. but it didn't mean that he could fight with so many experts in LV4 of the True Spirit Secret Realm. After killing the middle-aged servant, his figure flashed and instantly disappeared into the crowd. He rushed to the inn where Yin Huan Mo was resting at the fastest speed. Not long after, he once again saw the noble beauty in the black dress. "Elder Yin, I killed a servant of alchemist Feng Hai. It seems that we have to leave this place as soon as possible," Long Yu said solemnly. Yin Huan Mo was sitting cross-legged on the bed with her eyes closed to heal her injury. Hearing this, she opened her eyes and said without hesitation, "Let's go." Yin Huan Mo was naturally not a person who liked to drag things out. When she heard that Long Yu had offended alchemist Feng Hai, she immediately knew that it was impossible for them to stay in the Mixed Sound City. Yin Huan Mo didn't have anything else to do in the Mixed Sound City. At this moment, although her injury had not been healed, she had to leave with Long Yu first. Before the other party could react, Long Yu took off the ancient Ming general's bronze armor combat weapon and put on a set of gray clothes. Then, he and Yin Huan Mo quickly moved toward the West City Gate. When a middle-aged servant of alchemist Feng Hai was killed, the biggest sect in the city immediately reacted and sent many experts to investigate. After understanding the situation, they immediately ordered the whole city to be sealed off. Although it was only a servant who had died, everyone knew that alchemist Feng Hai was extremely protective of his people. If he were to come out of seclusion and find out that his servant had been killed and the murderer had not been caught, he would definitely fly into a rage. The losses that would be caused would probably be something that even the largest gang in Mixed Sound City would not be able to bear. However, when the whole city was sealed off to hunt for Long Yu and Yin Huan Mo had already left the Mixed Sound City and were heading toward the Tang Kingdom. As soon as Long Yu changed his clothes, no one could recognize him. Only a series of investigations would reveal that he was the one who had killed alchemist Feng Hai's servant. Unfortunately, Long Yu did not even have the time to investigate. He informed Yin Huan Mo and left the Mixed Sound City instantly. Chapter 159. Long Yu and Yin Huanma left, leaving the Mixed Sound City in chaos. Chaos? On the boundless grassland, the two of them ran with all their strength, like two black streamers. To Long Yu's surprise, not long ago, Yin Huanma had made a breakthrough in her injured state and stepped into LV5 of the True Spirit Secret Realm. Yin Huanma's overall strength had more than doubled due to the improvement of her realm. If she were to face the boorish man and 1Z again, she wouldn't be at a disadvantage even if she were to fight 1 against 2. Instead, she would be able to suppress them with an absolute advantage. Unfortunately, Yin Huanma's paper weapon had been destroyed by the white light of the meteorite, which made her feel pity. Of course, as long as her martial arts realm improved, that would be the best result. As expected, it was easiest to comprehend and make a breakthrough when she was in danger. After this experience, Yin Huanma had a lot of ideas. It seemed that she had to go out and gain experience more in the future. Just like Long Yu, from the moment he stepped onto the path of martial arts, he had always been in a state of constant fighting. It was precisely because of this that his martial arts realm rose so quickly. Yin Huanma thought to herself. She glanced at Long Yu, but found that Long Yu did not care about her. Instead, he walked forward with his eyes closed. At this moment, Long Yu seemed to have completely merged with the lunar wings on his back. The rhythm of his heart and the lunar wings seemed to have overlapped together. Ever since he had resonated with the lunar wings, Long Yu had been paying attention to the rhythm of the resonance with the lunar wings. At this moment, under the pressure of escaping after messing up the entire Mixed Sound City, and with Yin Huanma's fast speed in LV5 of the True Spirit Secret Realm, Long Yu had finally become one with the lunar wings. Spiritual connection. Now, Long Yu and the lunar wings could be said to be connected in mind. If he went one step further and reached the level of Tian Qi, the lunar wings would have its own consciousness. However, it was not easy to become one with the Tian Qi. Just like Long Yu and the 9 Nether Dragon Spear, They hadn't fused with the Heaven Awakening since they were in the depths of the soaring serpent abyss. This showed how difficult it was to fuse with the Heaven Awakening. Making a battle weapon develop its own consciousness was definitely not something that could be done in a short period of time. The degree of compatibility with the battle weapon started from resonance, then spirit linking, and finally Heaven Awakening. Each stage was stronger than the last, and one will be able to unleash the full potential of the battle weapon. For example, right now, Long Yu and the Lunar Wings had gone from resonance to psychic connection, instantly raising his overall speed to a whole new level. If I meet Mo foaming again, he won't be able to surpass me with my current speed. Extreme confidence arose in Long Yu's heart, because his current speed was even slightly faster than Yin Huan Mo's full speed dash. His speed was beyond the third level of the martial Dao realm. From this, one could imagine that unless the Mixed Sound City sent an expert above the fifth level of the true spirit realm, it would be impossible for them to catch up with Long Yu. How could the largest gang in the Mixed Sound City send an expert above the sixth level of the true spirit realm to chase after Long Yu for a mere middle-aged servant? Any expert at the sixth level of the true spirit realm would have a bad temper. They would not deliberately take care of Feng Hai, an alchemist. Just like that, Long Yu and Yin Huan Mo moved toward the territory of the Great Tang Kingdom. Finally, they stepped into the territory of the Great Tang Kingdom after dark. This area was a continuous mountain range, completely connected with the snowy mountain range at the Tang Pass, forming the natural border of the Great Tang Kingdom. The two of them quickly entered the mountain range. Basically, the pursuers of the Mixed Sound City would not dare to chase them. This was because there were many dangers in the mountain range, and it was especially easy to set up ambushes. If they blindly entered the mountain range, it was very likely that they would never come out again. This was also one of the main reasons why other countries did not attack the Great Tang Kingdom from this direction. Long Yu, I did not expect you to be so fast. In that case, I will not worry about you. After entering the mountain range, Yan Huan and Mo frowned and said, I'm afraid we will have to split up when we reach the front. Elder Yin, what's the matter? Long Yu was taken aback. My true spirit is injured, so I have to go to the Great Tang Imperial City to buy some healing elixirs. There is no other place in the Great Tang Kingdom where I can buy them, apart from the Imperial City. Yin Huan and Mo smiled. With your current identity, I will not be able to protect you if you follow me to the Imperial City. Before the 7-sect martial arts competition begins, you should choose the shortest route back to the sect. The elders are waiting for you. I believe they will give you a big surprise. A big surprise? Long Yu was not interested in the surprise, but it was indeed not suitable for him to go to the Great Tang Imperial City. Chu Chaosheng was a constant threat to his life. In the Great Tang Kingdom, the Jintian clan was probably the only safe place. If he were to return in this direction, Chu Chaosheng would definitely not be able to stop him so quickly. Since that's the case, I will take my leave. Long Yu did not ask Yin Huan Mo to stay. In fact, he was a little reserved when walking with Yin Huan Mo. Yin Huan Mo nodded, and the figure in her black dress flashed away, disappearing from the dense forest under the dim moonlight. Long Yu did not stop and continued in the direction of the Jintian clan. At the first glimmer of dawn, Long Yu ran out of the endless mountain range. In the distance, he saw a beautiful large lake, sparkling under the morning sun. Next to the lake was a large and rich terraced field with a large area of golden grain. In the Great Tang Kingdom, there are many places like this. Food is indeed the foundation of a country. With a casual thought, Long Yu turned into a black ray of light and flew towards the shore of the large lake at an extremely fast speed. Very quickly, he approached a peaceful and prosperous village. The sun had just risen and smoke was curling up from the chimneys in the village. It was obvious that every family was preparing breakfast. In such a village, it was already considered good if a villager was at the third level of the martial path. Once there was a villager who was talented in the martial path, he would most likely leave the village and join a sect to embark on the martial path. When Long Yu passed by the lake, he suddenly saw a familiar figure in the village. It was a pretty girl in a blue shirt. Her back was facing Long Yu, and she seemed to be facing the merciless and harsh criticism of countless villagers. It was Liao Lele. Long Yu's heart skipped a beat. Seeing that the situation was not right, he stopped in his tracks. He did not expect to see Liao Lele here. However, this lively and mischievous girl seemed to be in trouble. Demonis, it's all because of your pills that killed Uncle Lee. That's right. If you hadn't come back and forced Uncle Lee to eat some healing pill, Uncle Lee definitely wouldn't have been unable to hold on for one night. Return my Uncle Lee's life, you little Demonis. A large group of villagers surrounded Liao Lele in the center and criticized her. At the same time, they were getting closer and closer to her. Long Yu looked from afar and realized that Liao Lele was already at the 8th level of the martial Dao. If she wanted to run, she could easily leave. It was impossible for her to be surrounded by this group of villagers. However, at this moment, Liao Lele was trembling all over as she looked at the black corpse of a middle-aged man lying on a stretcher in front of her. Liao Lele seemed to think that she had caused the death of this middle-aged man, Uncle Lee. As a result, her entire heart was filled with guilt. Even in the face of the many villagers' accusations, she did not refute them. She had followed Elder Bai in the Jintian clan and learned alchemy. However, she had never expected that when she returned to the village where she grew up, she would cause Uncle Lee's death when she treated him. Was it because her alchemy skills were not up to par and she had refined poison? She could not figure out what went wrong. However, at this moment, Uncle Lee's entire body was black, and he was lying in front of her. This was an ironclad fact that crushed Liao Lele's fragile heart. However, at this moment, when Long Yu arrived, he saw through it with a glance. The condition of the middle-aged man's death was a sign of the shadow entanglement poison that Elder Yu Shueyun had been poisoned with. The shadow entanglement poison was a poison specially used by the Thousand Thread sect. The higher the cultivation of the person, the longer they could resist it. However, no matter what, the person's dantian and meridians would be completely eroded, causing their entire body to turn black, and they would die. It's someone from the Thousand Thread sect. A cold light flashed in Long Yu's eyes. He immediately knew that he had to intervene in this matter. Otherwise, after Liao Lele suffered this setback, forget about alchemy. She would always have a shadow over her cultivation. This would prevent her from advancing any further in her martial arts realm. A perfectly fine young lady with an innate talent in alchemy would most likely disappear because of this and remain silent forever. Everyone move away. Thinking of this, Long Yu did not hesitate at all. He took 2 steps forward and with a wave of his hand, a wave of energy from the heaven-suppressing territory pushed most of the villagers back. Under everyone's astonished gaze, Long Yu walked towards Liao Lele step by step. When Liao Lele heard Long Yu's voice, she immediately turned around. When she saw Long Yu, her cute eyes shone with surprise. Originally, when she heard that Long Yu had been forced into the thunderous pit and died, she didn't want to believe it. However, there was no news of Long Yu, so she had no choice but to accept this reality. Because of this, she left the Jintian clan and returned to the village she grew up in to relax. Now that she saw Long Yu in front of her, it was easy to imagine how she felt. However, immediately, she remembered the villager Uncle Lee whom she killed last night, and her expression darkened. What alchemy talent! The dance she refined couldn't even heal the external injuries of an ordinary cultivator. What right did she have to continue cultivating? What right did she have to meet Long Yu? Everyone, the cause of Uncle Lee's death was the Thousand Thread sect's entangling shadow poison. Long Yu stepped forward and scanned the surroundings. With a solemn expression, he said, Liao Lele is from the same sect as me. I believe in her. The pill she concocts will definitely not cause death. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone was stunned. The Thousand Thread sect's entangling shadow poison. Chapter 160. Only Liao Lele, upon hearing Long Yu's words, grasped at the last straw of hope. Long Yu, is what you said true? Liao Leilei's eyes widened. Of course it's true. Long Yu said in a low voice. I don't know who from the Thousand Thread sect is nearby, but they're too embarrassed to make a move on you, so they're using this method to attack your martial Dao and alchemy heart. Liao Leilei, you must not fall for their trap. Liao Leilei didn't say anything because Long Yu clearly couldn't produce any evidence to prove that Uncle Li died from the Thousand Thread sect's entangling shadow poison. Because of this, the villagers once again surrounded them at the same time. Moreover, they were even more indignant than before. You're from the same sect as this witch, so of course you'll speak up for her. What Thousand Thread sect's poison? How is that possible? That's right. Uncle Lee has no enmity with the Thousand Thread sect. Why would the experts from the Thousand Thread sect use such a cruel poison to deal with him? The people from his sects are all black-hearted. Just because they have some strength, they treat human life as dirt. How despicable. The group of people continued to talk at the same time, but Long Yu was completely unmoved. He only sneered. If I really treated human life as dirt, you'd all be dead by now. As soon as these words came out, the noisy scene immediately quieted down. The villagers subconsciously took a few steps back and looked at Long Yu with vigilance. Of course, they could see that the gray-clothed youth in front of them was extremely strong. Even if Liao Leilei was in the 8th stage of the martial Dao, the villagers had no way of fighting back. Not to mention Long Yu, who looked stronger than Liao Leilei. He. Right at this moment, a strange woman's laughter came from all directions. Liao Leilei and the other villagers were shocked when they heard this. Where did this inhuman voice come from? Only Long Yu was alone. His heart trembled, and he became vigilant. The expert from the Thousand Thread sect, who poisoned them, was still nearby. Long Yu, oh Long Yu, you really came at the wrong time. You didn't expect to meet me here, did you? The strange female voice giggled. If you hadn't appeared, the Jintian clan would have only lost a little alchemy girl. But now, the Jintian clan will lose both of you. If Liao Leilei was alone, the Thousand Thread sect's powerhouse wouldn't have attacked her directly based on the importance of Liao Leilei's identity as Old Bai's disciple. This was to prevent the Jintian clan from finding out and causing trouble. However, now that Long Yu had appeared, she could openly kill Long Yu and Liao Leilei. After all, the left prince, Chu Chaosheng, had to kill Long Yu. If she killed Long Yu now, with the left prince's support, not only would her life not be in danger, but she would also be able to form a relationship with Chu Chaosheng. As her strange laughter spread throughout the entire arena, Long Yu keenly sensed that a wave of killing intent instantly enveloped Liao Leilei, who was beside him. This murderous aura made Liao Leilei shiver as if she had fallen into an ice cave. Unfortunately, she didn't know what it meant. Only Long Yu could react in time. Let's go. Long Yu held the 9 Darkness Dragon Spear in one hand and swept it horizontally, causing the air to swirl. As Long Yu wrapped his arm around Liao Leilei's waist, the 9 Darkness Dragon leaped high into the air. Poof, poof, poof. 3 rays of light shot out from the shadows of the nearby houses and instantly pierced the ground where Liao Leilei was originally standing. If it wasn't for Long Yu's fast reaction, Liao Leilei would have been dead by now. Your reaction speed isn't slow. Unfortunately, in front of me, you can only do this. You can't escape. The strange female voice continued to laugh. As she finished speaking, a white cloud floated across the sky, completely enveloping Long Yu and Liao Leilei in its shadow. Die! The strange female's shout came from the air. Following that, Long Yu felt one shadow after another attack from the sky. It was like an endless amount of spider silk, trying to bind him and Liao Leilei in mid-air. The Thousand Thread sect's martial arts cultivators cultivated the Thousand Thread shadow manipulation technique, and the nomological law they comprehended was the Thousand Thread nomological law. However, this thread did not refer to spider silk, but to silk-like shadows. Only those who had comprehended the nomological concept above the Thousand Thread nomological law could use the power of the thousand-thread nomological law. The thousand-thread nomological law had an extremely strong binding effect. Even if they were in the same cultivation realm, the domain of the thousand-thread nomological law could easily suppress their opponents. Not to mention, the hidden female from the thousand-thread sect was definitely an expert above the rank 4 true spirit realm. Long Yu easily knew the other party's martial arts realm from the usage of the thousand-thread nomological law and the strength of the other party's power. Unless the other party was hiding her martial arts realm. Heaven-suppressing domain, suppress for me. Long Yu shouted. With one hand wrapped around Liao Leilei's slender waist, he waved the other hand, and the heaven-suppressing sun appeared behind him. The blazing sun shone and unexpectedly suppressed the other party's thousand-thread nomological law. The endless shadow threads that were about to form collapsed under the heaven-suppressing domain. Obviously, when the other party saw that Long Yu was only in the rank 2 true spirit realm, she made the same fatal mistake as when Zhe, underestimating him. Long Yu landed heavily on the ground and put down Liao Leilei, whose heart was beating rapidly, with a solemn expression. Previously, he was able to kill the other experts in the rank 4 true spirit realm not only because they underestimated him, but also because the other party had a target for Long Yu to choose from. But now, the thousand-thread sect's elder did not even show up and used the thousand-thread nomological law to deal with him, relying on the shadows to launch sneak attacks and harassment. If this goes on, I will definitely lose. I must find the other party's hiding place, Long Yu thought with a solemn expression. He held the 9 nether dragon spear in his hand and stood proudly, looking around. The short confrontation just now had already stunned the surrounding villagers on the spot. They never thought that Long Yu's words would be true. There really was an expert from the thousand-thread sect hiding in their village. In other words, Uncle Lee was really killed by the thousand-thread sect's entangling shadow poison. Suddenly, everyone felt a sense of guilt towards Liao Leilei. Originally, with Liao Leilei's pill, Uncle Lee's external injuries had quickly healed. Originally, it would have taken him another 2 to 3 months to get out of bed. But after taking the pill last night, he could get up and walk in just 4 hours. Although it was an external injury, the pill's effect was not to be underestimated. Liao Leilei was an orphan. After joining the Jintian clan to become an alchemist, she returned to the village and worked hard for the villagers. She deserved their respect and gratitude. But not long ago, they had mercilessly accused her without any evidence. All the villagers felt apologetic. But now, with the appearance of the thousand-thread sect's expert, it seemed that they could not participate in a battle of this level with their level. I heard that the thousand-thread sect's people are good at hiding. If we can find the other party's true body, Liao Leilei's senior brother should be able to deal with him, right? Immediately, a young villager came up with an idea. To them, whether it was Long Yu's martial realm or the thousand-thread sect's hidden expert's martial realm, they were both unattainable. They could not see the difference between the two sides. Now, they could only place their bets on Long Yu and hope that Long Yu would avenge Uncle Lee. The numerous villagers immediately scattered like birds and beasts, instantly fleeing in all directions. Long Yu only thought that they were escaping to avoid being caught in the crossfire, so he did not pay much attention. The current him was completely focused on sensing the thousand-thread sect's expert's position. Want to find me? That's not an easy task, The strange and gloomy female voice continued to come from all directions, followed by a wave of murderous intent shrouding Long Yu. The shadows under the surrounding white clouds seemed to come alive, crushing towards Long Yu's location. There's no way to find her for the time being. I can only focus on defense. Long Yu's heart trembled. He did not put away the heaven-suppressing sun and continued to release the heaven-suppressing territory. Under the terrifying pressure of his nomological powers, the surging shadow's speed all decreased by more than half. There was no way to capture Long Yu's figure at all. He, the Jintian clan's genius, the descendant of the Long General clan, you really live up to your reputation. It's a pity that you can defend for a while, but can you defend for a lifetime? The strange female voice laughed complacently. I want to see how long you can maintain the heaven-suppressing territory with your cultivation at the second level of the true spirit realm. As soon as she finished speaking, she actually continued to control the shadows and crush them towards Longyu. Once Longyu relaxed, he would definitely be caught by these shadows. There would be no way for him to escape. Only death awaited him. Therefore, he could only maintain the heaven-suppressing territory at all times. The Xian-Qi in his body was consumed at an extremely fast rate. Even if he had tempered his dantian, allowing his Xian-Qi recovery speed to be faster than ordinary people, it was definitely not comparable to a 1,000-thread sect expert at the 4th level of the true spirit realm. Longyu, be careful. Liao Lele stood to the side, looking at Longyu nervously. She was now at the 8th level of the martial Dao and could still sense that the enemy hiding in the dark was more than one level higher than Longyu's. Under such circumstances, if they were to sneak attack Longyu would most likely be in danger. Don't worry. Longyu's heart trembled as he felt the Xian-Qi in his body rapidly being consumed. He had a bad premonition. Could it be that he had to release the dragon of Nine Nether's true spirit this time? If it wasn't necessary, he really didn't want to use this second true spirit. However, if he didn't use it now, he would probably be killed by the other party. After all, the other party's martial Dao realm was already high, and now she was hiding and sneak attacking him. At this moment, suddenly, a scream came from the village not far away. Here, she's hiding here. The cries of the villagers entered Longyu's ears one after another. Hearing this, Longyu's heart trembled. Then, he looked over and saw a large group of villagers searching for something nearby. In one of the villages, there was a villager's scream. Obviously, he had encountered an accident. These villagers. I can't miss this opportunity. Seeing this, Longyu's heart warmed. Chapter 161. Longyu immediately reacted when he heard a blood-curdling scream coming from within the village. I finally know where you are. A bright light flashed in Longyu's eyes. He was able to communicate with the lunar wings, and for the first time, he finally used the lunar wings' spiritual martial skill, soaring. With a flap of his wings, he turned into a gray ray of light and soared through the sky. In an instant, he arrived at the place where the villagers found the 1,000-thread sect expert. After communicating with the lunar wings, he could use his profound qi to activate them, allowing him to soar in the sky like an eagle. Even though he couldn't fly as high as a real eagle, he could still fly extremely fast for a short distance. In an instant, Longyu descended from the sky and saw the 1,000-thread sect expert hiding in a corner of the village. It was a middle-aged woman with a scorpion tattoo on her face. She wore a black robe, and her eyes shone with malice. She pierced through a villager's chest with one hand and crushed his heart. Found you. Longyu's heart skipped a beat. He retracted the lunar wings and cautiously landed in front of the 1,000-thread sect woman. So what if you found me? The middle-aged woman with the scorpion tattoo on her face chuckled and looked at Longyu with disdain. You're only in the second layer of the true spirit realm, while I'm an elder of the 1,000-thread sect. I've already condensed my true spirit into a physical body and reached the 4th layer of the true spirit realm. Do you think you have the slightest chance of winning against me? As soon as she said this, the surrounding villagers' faces turned ashen. They had originally thought that Longyu and this middle-aged woman's martial Dao realm were not far apart. That was why they had tried their best and even sacrificed their lives to find Longyu's whereabouts. However, this vicious middle-aged woman turned out to be at the 4th layer of the true spirit secret realm, while Longyu was only at the 2nd layer of the true spirit secret realm. This made them all extremely disappointed. Uncle Lee and the villagers who had just been killed by the middle-aged man would probably not be able to avenge themselves. Moreover, this middle-aged woman would probably take revenge on the entire village after killing Longyu. For a moment, the hundreds of villagers who had been surrounding him retreated at the same time, each of them wearing a fearful expression. To them, the battle between the experts of the true spirit secret plane was too far away. They had no way of interfering. If they wanted to interfere, only death awaited them. There were already quite a number of villagers who had thoughts of escaping. Their eyes flickered. Even if he had to escape the village he grew up in, it was still better than losing his life. At this time, Liao Lele finally ran over and shouted, "Don't be afraid, everyone." Senior brother Long Yu is a genius of the Jintian clan. This time, he will definitely not let this vicious woman escape. Little girl, you're really interesting. The scorpion mark on the middle-aged woman's face looked incomparably sinister as she giggled. A cruel glint appeared in her eyes. Of course I won't run. You're the ones who should run, aren't you? Remember my name? Ing Luo. This person was called Ing Luo, an elder of the Thousand Thread sect. In fact, this Ing Luo's strength was not inferior to Yan Huan Ma's before his advancement. The pressure on Long Yu increased greatly. However, now that he had found the other party's location, everything was much easier. Let's fight. Long Yu's eyes burned with passion. He had to kill this elder of the Thousand Thread sect without a doubt. Whether it was because the Thousand Thread sect had hurt Elder Yu Shuiyun in the beginning, or because they had hurt White Cloud Track later on, or because they wanted to steal the heaven-suppressing technique. Regardless of which, Long Yu had enough reason to kill the person in front of him. Moreover, this vicious elder of the Thousand Thread sect, Ing Luo, had cruelly killed innocent villagers just to destroy Liao Lele's confidence in alchemy. If not for Long Yu's appearance, this person would have already achieved her goal, which was to destroy Liao Lele's life. Thousand Thread Web. Ing Luo giggled as the sinister look in her eyes intensified. With a wave of her hand, countless shadows formed into threads that resembled spider silk that spread towards Long Yu, rapidly forming a large area that resembled a spider's web. Thousand Thread Domain. Ing Luo shouted once again. Immediately after, Long Yu felt a powerful entanglement that enveloped his entire body. Heaven-suppressing sun, come out. Long Yu remained calm as he released the heaven-suppressing sun's true spirit. In an instant, scorching rays of sunlight shot out in all directions, accompanied by the tyrannical pressure of the heaven-suppressing domain, which began to resist the other party's Thousand Thread Domain. However, even the rays of the heaven-suppressing sun were pierced through by the Thousand Thread Domain. Trapped by the Thousand Thread Domain, it could not spread any further and was riddled with holes. The Thousand Thread Web. All the shadow threads are being emitted from her hands. Long Yu glanced sideways and discovered this point. Immediately, his entire body erupted with an incomparably terrifying destructive energy. It was as if heavenly thunder had struck him, and a burst of lightning flashed from his body. This destructive lightning was the power of the Nightmare Thunder Divine Charm that he had comprehended. At this moment, under his precise control, the lightning formed from the Nightmare Thunder Divine Charm instantly followed the Thousand Thread Web and attacked the Thousand Thread Sect's elder, Ing Luo. The speed of the lightning was the speed of lightning. Before Ing Luo could react, she had already been enveloped by the power of the Nightmare Thunder Divine Charm and was covered in lightning. Thousand Thread Defense. Ing Luo snorted coldly. Immediately after, the surrounding shadow threads completely contracted and formed a thick layer of shadow on the surface of her body, almost covering her entire body. The destructive lightning of a Nightmare Thunder Divine Charm was unable to break through the thick layer of shadow and could only linger on the surface of a shadow. Good chance. Long Yu's eyes lit up, and he immediately gathered the 9 Nether Chi in his fist. 9 Nether Dragon Fist, Reincarnation Awakening. The 9 Nether Chi turned into reincarnation, and everything under reincarnation perished. Long Yu immediately punched out. The power of reincarnation appeared out of thin air and enveloped Ing Luo's black-robed figure, sending her into reincarnation. Her martial Dao realm had undoubtedly fallen to the 3rd layer of the true spirit's secret realm. This phenomenon caused Ing Luo's expression to change. What kind of strange martial skill was this that could cause her martial Dao realm to fall? She quickly discovered that her martial Dao realm was recovering at an extremely fast speed. But without a doubt, at this moment, other than her true spirit still being a physical body, she had completely become a third-layer true spirit secret realm cultivator. The difference in basic strength between the third and fourth layer true spirit secret realm was huge. They were on completely different levels. With the fall of her martial Dao realm, Long Yu's drunken underworld fist immediately followed. The road to the underworld was instantly paved, and he wanted to envelop Ing Luo. However, Ing Luo did not underestimate her opponent. This was the biggest difference between her and the fourth-layer true spirit secret realm experts that Long Yu had encountered before. Even when facing a second-layer true spirit secret realm kid, Ing Luo still hid and refused to show herself. It could be seen that she was very cautious. At this moment, she was already on guard against Long Yu's sneak attack. She understood that since Long Yu dared to stay and fight with her, he must have his own trump card. Or perhaps he had some helpers rushing over, which was why Long Yu made such a move. In this kind of situation, Ing Luo still had a trace of vigilance. At this moment, when she saw Long Yu's fist imitating the road to the underworld, she immediately pulled her hands together and retreated dozens of feet. However, just when she thought that she was safe, she suddenly felt something strange under her feet. Following that, a violent pillar of 9 nether chi burst out from under her feet. 9 nether explosion. Long Yu punched the ground not far away, condensing the 9 nether explosion to kill Ing Luo. Ing Luo's reaction was extremely fast. At this critical moment, she was still able to react. Her body rolled to the side, once again, brushing against the pillar of 9 nether explosion and rolling a few times on the ground. Although she was in an extremely sorry state, she managed to dodge Long Yu's killing blow. This scene caused Long Yu's heart to tremble. He knew that Ing Luo was definitely not as easy to deal with as those experts in the 4th level of the True Spirit Realm. The biggest difference between her and those that Long Yu had killed previously was her mentality. No matter what, Ing Luo did not underestimate her opponent, which was the biggest problem for Long Yu. Fortunately, he had comprehended the reincarnation awakening palm to the small success stage and could condense the reincarnation power out of thin air. Otherwise, he might not even be able to hit his opponent. Fortunately, Ing Luo was only in the 3rd level of the True Spirit Realm. Just based on his basic strength, Long Yu was already qualified to fight her. Kill. Long Yu did not give up. The lunar wings appeared on his back, and he flew towards Ing Luo like a goshawk. In an instant, he was above her head. Layers of spear shadows. Long Yu waved the 9 nether dragon spear in his hand, and instantly, layers of spear shadows condensed and shot towards Ing Luo. Defense of 1,000 threads. Ing Luo had just dodged the 9 nether explosion, and before she could react, she was faced with Long Yu's layers of spear shadows. At this moment, she could only use the defense of 1,000 threads and use the shadows to form a thick layer of shadow defense above her head. Unfortunately, her martial Dao realm was only in the 3rd level of the True Spirit Realm. Her layer of defense of 1,000 threads shadow shield quickly collapsed under Long Yu's layers of spear shadows. This made her sinister face even more gloomy. However, Long Yu's attack was relentless. After the layers of spear shadows were displayed, the 10,000 human kill condensed with a murderous aura, accompanied by a terrifying destructive thunder aura, struck down. Ing Luo immediately rolled to the side and leaped up, trying to avoid Long Yu's attack. Once her martial Dao realm recovered, it will be the time of Long Yu's death. However, Long Yu's current speed was faster than her at her peak. So how could he let her escape? The 9 nether dragon spear was like a tyrannosaurus that was about to devour its target. Carrying endless thunder aura, it followed Ing Luo's figure and pierced through her shoulder. With a loud bang, The berserk power of the thunderstorm instantly blew her shoulder into pieces. Puff! Ing Luo's eyes were bloodshot. Chapter 162. As Ing Luo's shoulder was pierced by Long Yu's spear, it was blasted open by the destructive thunder, and blood instantly flowed out. This scene stunned the nearby villagers who were preparing to escape. Wasn't it said that Long Yu was only at the second level of the true spirit realm, and that thousand-thread sect elder Ing Luo was at the fourth level of the true spirit realm? With a difference of 2 levels, Ing Luo was actually beaten by Long Yu like a drowning dog. This was unbelievable. For a moment, all the villagers looked at Long Yu with shock in their eyes. They had a premonition that this young man in gray clothes would one day become famous throughout the Tang Empire, and this day would not be too far away. This was because everyone in the Tang Empire knew that the martial arts discussion of the 7 sects would be held in less than a month. On that stage of the strongest youths in the country, Long Yu would definitely shine, right? Kill. Long Yu did not stop at all, and only coldness flashed in his eyes. To him, Ing Luo was an enemy. If she was an enemy, then she must be killed. Wait, don't attack, I beg for mercy. A sinister look flashed in Ing Luo's eyes, and she pretended to be pitiful. She covered her shoulder that had been blasted open and begged for mercy. Unfortunately, Long Yu did not fall for this at all. Long Yu, Liao Lele, who was not far away, could not help but shout when she saw the situation. She saw that Ing Luo's shoulder had been shattered, and she looked extremely pitiful. This made her feel a trace of compassion, and she wanted to stop Long Yu and ask him not to kill her. However, how could Long Yu be affected by her? Touch of the reverse scale. Long Yu's blood spilled on the 9 nether dragon spear, and a dark spear light flashed and attacked Ing Luo. Defense of 1,000 silk. Ing Luo quickly activated her Xianqi and wanted to condense a shadow to defend against Long Yu's spear. However, at this moment, the heaven-suppressing sun appeared behind Long Yu again. Under the blazing light of the sun, it was accompanied by the tyrannical pressure of the heaven-suppressing domain. In an instant, Ing Luo's defense of 1,000 silk was burned full of holes. When Ing Luo's cultivation was reduced to the 3rd level of the true spirit secret realm, the situation was instantly reversed. Even if Ing Luo's martial arts realm was completely restored, she would still be severely injured and would not be a match for Long Yu. The touch of the reverse scale easily penetrated the shadow defense of the defense of 1,000 threads and stabbed into Ing Luo's chest. The violent power of the nightmare thunder surged out, instantly shattering Ing Luo's heart meridians. The scorpion tattoo on Ing Luo's face, along with the disbelief and unwillingness in her eyes, made her look extremely dangerous. Ing Luo's back, Ing Luo's sons, Ing Dragon Spear. Xian, Dragon, Shi, Yang Demon. Long Yu heaved a sigh of relief only when Ing Luo's chest was bleeding and her body fell to the ground, lifeless. This battle with the 1,000 Silk Sect's elder was the most difficult one he had ever fought against a 4th-level true spirit secret realm cultivator. This time, it was only because the other party was on guard. In terms of strength, Ing Luo was definitely no match for Yu Qianing. This was because Yu Qianing had not only comprehended the domain of 1,000 silk, but she had also cultivated the royal family's spring and autumn imperial scripture. She had comprehended the emperor domain, which was the power of a mystic jade. Although Long Yu had the lunar and nightmare thunder divine steel's powers, he had not comprehended the domain. He was still far from being able to go against the emperor domain. My martial arts realm must be higher. Long Yu thought about the demonic beast corpses and inner cores stored in the 9 nether space. He looked at Liao Lele, who was not far away, and had an idea. Why not bring all the materials that could be used to refine elixirs back to Old Bai and ask him to help refine some elixirs? No matter what, the martial arts realm was the foundation of a martial cultivator. If Long Yu could reach the 3rd level of the true spirit secret realm, it would be much easier for him to deal with a 4th-level true spirit secret realm expert. Even a fourth-level, true spirit secret realm expert like Yu Qining would be able to defeat him. Long Yu stepped forward and searched the corpse of the Thousand Silk Sect's elder, Ing Luo. He wanted to see if there was any valuable loot. Liao Lele could not bear to watch this scene any longer. Long Yu, you've already killed her. How could you treat her corpse like this? Liao Lele's eyes flickered with pity. If I were the one who died, I believe she would treat me, you, and everyone else in the village the same way. Long Yu said calmly, but he did not stop what he was doing. Soon, he found a bronze-colored high-rank spirit rank combat weapon in Ing Luo's bosom. It was a needle-shaped combat weapon, and from the small words engraved on it, it seemed to be called Thousand Shadow Copper Needle. The needle-shaped combat weapon was not used by many people, so it would not fetch a good price. However, it should be worth around 300 to 500 crystal coins. Ing Luo must have secretly used the Thousand Shadow Copper Needle in the battle just now, because Long Yu could feel the warmth from the Thousand Shadow Copper Needle as he held it. Unfortunately, even with this high-grade spiritual level combat weapon, it was still not enough to fight against Long Yu. This was because both Long Yu's combat weapon and martial skills were of the supreme spiritual level. Liao Lele's eyes were filled with anger when she saw Long Yu's actions, but she quickly calmed down. She knew that Long Yu had saved her and the entire village. Moreover, the Thousand Silk Sect's elder, Ing Luo, was indeed an evil person. However, her death made Liao Lele feel a little emotional. Even if she had reached the fourth level of the true spirit realm, wouldn't she still die in a battle? One day, Long Yu might also face the same danger. Alchemy to save people is so important, Liao Lele thought to herself. After this incident, not only did it not make her depressed, it made her even more eager to learn alchemy. She was kind-hearted and did not want to see anyone close to her die. If she wanted to do so, she could only practice better alchemy skills. Only then would she have the ability to revive the dead. The current her was still too far from it. Even old Bai, as the only alchemist in the Jintian clan, his alchemy skills were not considered outstanding. Liao Lele knew that she still had a long way to go on the path of alchemy. The village's crisis had been resolved. Long Yu rejected the villagers' warm invitation and turned to leave. He walked alone in the direction of the Jintian clan. Long Yu, I'll stay in the village for a while. Before the seven-sect martial competition begins, I'll definitely return to the Jintian clan. Liao Lele looked at Long Yu's back as he left, but did not chase after him. Now she understood that it was impossible for her and Long Yu to be together, not only because of the gap between them, but also because their personalities were completely different. Long Yu was decisive when it came to killing, while she was too benevolent. They could be friends, but in the end, their relationship could not surpass that of friends. In the village, 2 villagers had died in the hands of the Thousand Silk Sect's elder, Ing Luo, so Liao Lele had to stay behind to deal with it. As for Ing Luo's corpse, in order to prevent trouble, the villagers unanimously suggested to burn it. Under the morning sun, a flame rose rapidly in the village, even more dazzling than the sunrise in the east. The flame was imprinted in Liao Lele's eyes as she watched Long Yu's figure disappear into the distance. Only then did she regain her senses. In this village that she had grown up in, she felt a sense of tranquility. She realized that it was very helpful in improving her alchemy skills. So, she decided to stay in the village for a while longer to see if she could break through her current bottleneck. Long Yu activated the lunar wings, and under the effect of the psychic link, his speed was extremely fast. In less than a day, he had already crossed a large stretch of the Great Tang Kingdom, and the Heaven Suppression Mountain Range was right in front of him. With his current speed, even ordinary 5th-layer true spirit realm martial cultivators could not catch up to him. It would only take him 2 to 3 days to cross the entire Great Tang Kingdom. In the evening, he arrived at the Heaven Suppression Valley. Just like the first time he came here, there would always be a few young martial cultivators who wanted to pass through the Heaven Suppression Valley to join the Jintian clan. When they saw Long Yu returning from outside and casually stepping into the Heaven Suppression Valley, they all revealed looks of jealousy. This heaven suppression valley is so hard to pass. At most, I won't join the Jintian clan. What's the big deal about the Jintian clan? That's right. I heard that the Royal Chu clan is preparing to set up a school in the royal city. And they said that as long as you enter the school, you will be able to learn the cultivation techniques of the 7 major sects, including the Jintian clan. I wonder if it's true? Whether it's true or not, we'll know after watching the martial competition of the 7 sects. If Yu Qianing of the 1,000 Threads sect wins, then it'll be true. At that time, not only the Jintian clan, but the 7 major sects of the Great Tang Kingdom will also decline. The group chatted as if there was no one else around, but it was clearly for Long Yu's ears. Who asked Long Yu to walk past them so casually? Hearing these words, Long Yu let out a cold laugh. As he stepped into the Heaven Suppression Valley, he leisurely said, "No matter how much the Jintian clan declines, trash like you will never have the right to join the Jintian clan." They didn't want to join the Jintian clan because the Jintian clan didn't want trash like them. After finishing his words, Long Yu left the angry crowd behind and went into the Heaven Suppression Valley alone. After passing through the Heaven Suppression Valley and stepping into the Jintian clan's mountain gate, the annoying voices finally stopped. Long Yu raised his head and saw Old Bai waiting for him with a smile. "Brat, you're finally willing to come back. All right, I heard that you're coming back. That Bai Hang is looking for you everywhere. He wants to challenge you." Old Bai stroked his beard and said with a smile, "Bai Hang?" Hearing this, Long Yu's heart skipped a beat. Isn't that Bai Hang the second strongest core disciple of the Jintian clan? He even met him at the Ling clan's villa. Why does this Bai Hang want to challenge me now? At that time, Bai Hang was at the peak of the 2nd level of the true spirit realm. Now that 3 months had passed, he should have broken through to the 3rd level of the true spirit realm. Chapter 163. Bai Hang was in the 3rd layer of the true spirit realm and was the 2nd strongest core disciple of the Jintian clan. Long Yu was in the 2nd layer of the true spirit realm. His ranking was not high among the core disciples, but he was extremely powerful. It had been a long time since he returned to the Jintian clan. It was said that he had been training outside. Some time ago, there was news that Long Yu was forced to die in the Thunderous Pit. But now he had returned. Bai Hang's challenge to Long Yu attracted the attention of almost all the disciples of the Jintian clan. Even though it was dinner time, thousands of disciples of the Jintian clan did not have any desire to eat. Instead, they gathered at the Jintian clan's dojo to watch the battle between Bai Hang and Long Yu. This was a battle between 2 top core disciples, so it naturally attracted everyone's attention. Jintian clan's dojo. In the dojo, Long Yu wore a gray robe with a 9 nether dragon spear on his back. He stood calmly. In front of him was Bai Hang, who was dressed in white and had a low-rank spiritual combat weapon hanging from his waist. He stood there elegantly, with a gentle look in his eyes. "Long Yu, the fact that you are willing to accept my challenge has truly exceeded my expectations," Bai Hang said with a smile. From his voice, there was no hint of malice. "We are brothers of the same clan. It's only right for us to spar. Why should I refuse?" Long Yu squinted his eyes and asked, "On the other hand, senior brother Bai Hang, why do you want to challenge me?" Hearing this, Bai Hang's eyes flashed fiercely, but he quickly returned to normal. "Not long ago, I heard that you obtained a treasure from the Ling clan's villa. I was going to get that treasure for senior brother Hua Yiluan," Bai Hang said with a smile. The lunar heavenly tablet. Long Yu felt a chill in his heart. He immediately knew how Bai Hang found out. It was definitely Yu Qianing who spread the news. On the way to the sky-piercing lightning pool, Yu Qianing must have noticed him unleashing the lunar heaven tablet's power. Because of this, the rumor began to spread. As for the consequences of this news, it was, of course, extremely disadvantageous to Long Yu. Bai Hang's challenge was a small matter. What was important was that in the future, there would probably be endless troubles because of the lunar heavenly tablet. "Junior brother Long Yu, if I defeat you in this challenge, will you hand over the treasure to me?" Bai Hang said faintly. "Senior brother Hua Yiluan has done me a favor. I have no other way but to repay his kindness. If you win, I'll give it to you." Long Yu chuckled. He didn't even think much of Bayang. This Bayang claimed that he was doing this for Hua Yiluan. However, Long Yu knew that Bayang was definitely greedy when he saw the look in his eyes. If he obtained the lunar heavenly tablet, Bayang definitely wouldn't hand it over to Hua Yiluan. After all, Hua Yiluan only took care of Bayang a little. No matter what, it wasn't as important as the lunar heavenly tablet. Hypocrites were people like Bayang. Long Yu understood people's hearts. He understood the gist of Baihong's eyes. It seems that junior brother Long Yu is very confident in his strength. Bayang could tell that Long Yu didn't think much of him. He couldn't help but hate him. However, he didn't show it on his face. Instead, he smiled faintly and said, "Then, as a senior brother, I would like to experience junior brother Long Yu's strength." "You're welcome." Long Yu also smiled faintly. "Then I'll make my move first. Be careful, senior brother." "Come on," Bayang said confidently. He puffed out his chest and held the hilt of the sword hanging on his waist. Long Yu didn't hesitate. He raised his hand and held the 9-nether dragon spear in his hand. Heaven-suppressing sun. Behind Long Yu, a blazing sun rose, accompanied by an extremely tyrannical pressure of the heaven-suppressing domain, which spread throughout the entire martial arena. At that instant, Baihong's calm expression changed. Heaven-suppressing domain. It was so powerful. Bayang realized that he had underestimated Long Yu. Although the boy in front of him was only in LV2 of the true spirit realm, he had comprehended the heaven-suppressing domain. In this aspect, he was much stronger than Bayang. Although Bayang had stepped into LV3 of the true spirit realm, he had only comprehended the heaven-suppressing domain. A white sword shadow appeared behind him and emitted a heaven-suppressing domain that clashed with Long Yu's heaven-suppressing domain. At that instant, the heaven-suppressing domain exploded to a terrifying degree. If the surrounding spectators were to come to the martial arena, they would probably be crushed by this pressure in an instant. At the place where the two heaven-suppressing pressures collided, an incomparably violent airflow erupted, visible to the naked eye. Heaven-suppressing spear technique, layers of spear shadows. Long Yu swung his spear, and instantly, numerous spear shadows appeared and swept towards Baihang. Baihang brandished the long sword in his hand, and a burst of heavenly might descended from the sky, wanting to destroy Long Yu's numerous spear shadows. Heaven's Might sword art and heaven-suppressing spear art instantly collided, exploding forth. 10,000 slaughter. Long Yu withdrew his spear in time and immediately struck out with a spear filled with endless killing intent. Bayang had yet to withdraw his sword and had yet to catch his breath. He could only use the sword in his hand to meet Long Yu's spear head-on. Crack! With a crisp sound, Long Yu's spear contained endless killing intent, accompanied by the terrifying destructive power of the Nightmare Thunder Charm. It instantly shattered Baihong's lower spiritual level sword. Reverse scale touch. Long Yu did not give Baihang any chance to be surprised as he stabbed his spear at the white sword shadow behind him. The destructive power of the Nightmare Thunder Charm was extremely terrifying. Before Baihang could recover from the shock of his combat weapon being shattered, the true spirit behind him had already been completely destroyed by Long Yu's spear. As long as the true spirit had not condensed into a physical form, it was extremely easy to destroy. Right now, Baihang was in such a state. You've lost. Long Yu held the 9-nether dragon spear as he took a step forward and said lightly. The heaven-suppressing sun shone brightly and was accompanied by boundless heaven-suppressing might, completely suppressing Baihang. Without the white sword shadow's true spirit, Baihang had no way of resisting Long Yu's heaven-suppressing domain. At this moment, his entire face was covered in cold sweat. He knew that he had truly lost to Long Yu. Victory or defeat was decided in an instant. This proved that Long Yu's strength was definitely not limited to this. Otherwise, he would not have been able to defeat him so easily, let alone shatter his combat weapon and completely destroy his true spirit. Long Yu completed 3 consecutive spear strikes in an instant and easily crushed Baihang. Before the surrounding Jintian clan disciples could react, the outcome of the battle had already been decided. When they saw Baihang's combat weapon and the white sword shadow's true spirit being destroyed by Long Yu, their eyes widened in disbelief. So fast. Originally, everyone thought that this would be a fierce battle and that the final outcome would definitely be Baihang's victory. After all, Baihang's martial arts realm was obvious, and he was a level higher than Long Yu's. However, the current situation had overturned all of their guesses. Long Yu's strength was so terrifying that he was able to instantly defeat Baiyang, who was at level 3 of the True Spirit realm, and even destroy his combat weapon and True Spirit with his cultivation at level 2 of the True Spirit realm. It's no wonder that not a single elder came to watch this battle. Yeah, the elders must have known about Long Yu's strength, so there's no need for them to come and watch this battle. I didn't expect Long Yu to be so strong. If that's the case, I'm afraid his strength is on par with Senior Brother Bu's, right? One by one, the surrounding Jintian clan disciples pointed at Long Yu. But Long Yu did not stay here at all. The reason why he had accepted Baihang's challenge and accepted it immediately was because he knew that it would not take up too much of his time. Elder Bai told him that the elders of the Jintian clan were waiting for him in the forbidden land of the bamboo forest and asked him to go there alone after he finished his business. Long Yu could also tell that the elders, including Elder Bai, already knew about his strength, so they were not interested in his battle with Baiyang. The news about his strength must have come from Elder Yin Huanma. Although Yin Huanma had gone to the imperial city of the Tang Empire first, messenger pigeons were very common in the Heavenly Mandate continent, so it was quite convenient to send messages. Long Yu left the gladiatorial arena and stretched out the lunar wings on his back. He immediately activated the spiritual martial skill, lunar soaring. In an instant, he turned into a black eagle and soared into the sky, flying toward another mountain in the distance. Flying for a short period of time was not a problem for the current him. Using it to travel between the mountain ranges would save him a great deal of time. However, he still had to control the lunar wings well. Otherwise, if he were to fall from such a great height, only death would await him. Not long after, he soared to the mountain where the elders were. He turned into a black streamer and quickly ran toward the forbidden land of the bamboo forest in the back mountain. When he stepped into the forbidden land of the bamboo forest, the sun had just set, and the night gradually fell on the mountains. As soon as Long Yu arrived, he was shocked because he felt that there were many people waiting for him in the bamboo forest. Bai Yunzong, Elder Bai, Elder Black, Yu Shuiyun, Bu Bu, Li Bufan, Yu Shengshi, there were more than a dozen elders, the clan leader, and the number 1 core disciple, waiting for him in the bamboo forest. Clan leader, elders, Senior Brother Bu. Long Yu stepped forward and smiled. Seeing these people, Long Yu felt a sense of warmth in his heart, because Bai Yunzong, Bu Bu, Elder Bai, and the others were people who really cared about him. Long Yu, it's good that you're back. Bai Yunzong stroked his beard, and his 2 small mustaches curled up slightly. His eyes were full of admiration. Ah, Junior Brother Long Yu. All the elders have received a messenger pigeon from Elder Yin. She said that your strength can even deal with an expert in the 4th tier of the True Spirit Secret Realm. We want to see for ourselves. Walking took the lead, taking a step forward and laughing heartily. Chapter 164. Congratulations, Senior Brother Bu. Long Yu said sincerely. What's with the nonsense? Bu Zong waved his hand and said impatiently, Junior Brother Long Yu, since the first time I met you, you've been advancing from the 7th rank of the martial path to the 2nd rank of the True Spirit Realm. You can even kill experts 2 ranks higher than you. I, on the other hand, have only taken a small step forward. Compared to you, I'm ashamed. No, today I must decide who's the winner between us. Come. Bu Zong said arrogantly as he looked at Long Yu with a hint of provocation in his eyes. Ha, Long Yu, just accept his challenge. It's not just Bu Zong. The elders are also curious about your strength. Bai Yunzong chuckled. Since that's the case, Why don't we make a bet? Long Yu, as long as you can defeat someone, that person will give you a treasure, be it an elixir or a combat weapon. Those who want to challenge Long Yu, please go ahead. When Long Yu heard this, he couldn't help but feel puzzled. Were these elders treating him like a monster? However, according to Yin Huanmo's letter, Long Yu is indeed a monster for being able to kill a 4th-rank true spirit realm expert. I'll go first. Buzong laughed and stepped forward. Junior brother Long Yu, please. If you can defeat me, I'll give you the spiritual high-grade elixir I just obtained. What do you think? No problem. Long Yu narrowed his eyes. On one hand, he wanted to see how much Buzong had improved. On the other hand, he really needed elixirs to improve his martial path. He had to be prepared. If Yu Qianing had already stepped into the 5th rank of the True Spirit Realm, his rank 2 True Spirit Realm cultivation would not be enough. At the very least, he had to reach the 3rd rank of the True Spirit Realm. As for condensing the True Spirit into a physical body, it was not that easy. Long Yu did not expect to achieve it in a short period of time. When he issued the challenge, Long Yu gladly accepted it. White Cloud and the other elders scattered in all directions, giving the two of them some space. In the bamboo forest, the two stood facing each other, not showing any mercy as they walked. The true form of the heavenly eagle True Spirit appeared behind them, and an eagle's cry reverberated through the entire area, echoing far into the night sky. It really is the true form of the sky eagle True Spirit. Impressive. Long Yu's eyes lit up when he felt the tyrannical pressure coming from the heavenly eagle True Spirit. The heavenly eagle's true spirit body that he was seeing now was 10 times stronger than before. It seemed that condensing the true spirit into a material form was indeed a huge barrier on the path of the martial Tao. If one was able to accomplish it, then one's strength would be like the difference between the heavens and the earth. However, it was not impossible for Long Yu to deal with a walking heavenly eagle True Spirit. Heaven-suppressing sun. Long Yu roared, and the sun True Spirit appeared behind him. As the sun shone brightly, the darkness around them became as bright as day. In the next moment, the heaven-suppressing domain's pressure was unleashed, enveloping Bu Fong. Heaven-suppressing domain? I just happened to have comprehended it not too long ago. Bu Fong laughed heartily. Suddenly, an extremely tyrannical pressure was released from the true form of the heavenly eagle True Spirit. It fought against Long Yu's heaven-suppressing sun pressure and continued to suppress it. Samsara awakening. Long Yu punched out, and the samsara force surged out, appearing out of thin air in front of him. However, the target of Long Yu's punch was not Bu Fong, but the true form of the heavenly eagle True Spirit. Previously, Long Yu had been using the samsara awakening palm to attack the bodies of other martial cultivators. However, he had never used it to attack a true spirit. Since it was not a life and death battle, Long Yu decided to use it to test it out. Then, the endless samsara force completely enveloped the true form of the heavenly eagle True Spirit. Then, to everyone's shock, the true form of the heavenly eagle True Spirit turned into a shadow. Samsara awakening, a punch that entered the cycle of reincarnation. It was the same for a true spirit. Long Yu's punch had actually turned the true form of the heavenly eagle True Spirit into a shadow. The heaven-suppressing domain released by Bu Fong was instantly weakened by 10 times. Amazing! All the elders, including Bai Yunzong, had solemn expressions on their faces, and their hearts trembled. Long Yu's martial arts technique was impossible to guard against, and its effects were extremely terrifying. If it was someone at the same martial arts realm as Long Yu, they would not be a match for Long Yu. Bu Fong, who was facing Long Yu head-on, felt the most. He felt that the true form of the heavenly eagle True Spirit that he had condensed not long ago had suddenly turned into a shadow, and its power had been weakened by more than 10 times. The next moment, Long Yu laughed heartily. Holding the 9-nether dragon spear, he attacked Bu Fong, accompanied by layers of spear shadows. Whirlwind Spear. Bu Fong reacted quickly, and with a wave of his hand, a long spear condensed from whirlwind brought a gust of wind and met Long Yu's layers of spear shadows. After a loud bang, the two attacks collided, and a strong airflow erupted. Whirlwind Spear was a mid-grade spirit-level martial technique of the Jintian clan. Its power was not outstanding, but its biggest advantage was that its consumption was extremely low. With Bufang's current martial arts realm, the recovery speed of the Xian Qi in his body was enough for him to release Whirlwind Spear all day long without running out of Xian Qi. Therefore, Whirlwind Spear was considered a rather popular spirit-level martial technique in the Jintian clan. It was a very good choice to use it to exhaust the opponent and to test the opponent's strength. Because of this, Long Yu's layers of spear shadows were destroyed by Bufang's Whirlwind Spear. If both sides were to be compared, Long Yu would definitely suffer more losses. Because of the difference in martial arts realm, the total amount of Xian Qi in Long Yu's body was far less than Bufang's. The number one core disciple of the Jintian clan had extremely rich combat experience. Even though the Heavenly Eagle's true spirit had been sent into reincarnation by Long Yu and had fallen into an illusion, his cultivation was still there. The power of his martial technique was still not affected at all. What's more, due to the difference in martial arts realm, the total amount of Xian Qi in Long Yu's body was far from being comparable to Bufang's. The power of his martial technique was still not affected in the slightest. Whirlwind Heavenly Spear. Bufang waved his hand, and the Xian Qi in his body surged out. In an instant, a hurricane appeared out of thin air around Long Yu, forming a tornado that connected the heavens. And above Long Yu's head, this tornado quickly transformed into a giant spear and descended from the sky. The tornado's strong winds caused Long Yu's gray clothes to flutter, but his body did not move an inch. Lunar Wing's psychic martial technique soar. The lunar wings on Long Yu's back flashed, and he borrowed the strong winds to fly at a speed faster than usual. In an instant, he left the attack range of the Whirlwind Heavenly Spear. Bufang only felt a grayish-black figure stretch out its wings in the tornado, and in an instant, it appeared in midair and then quickly rushed towards him. 10,000 human killing intent condense. Long Yu shouted, and the lunar wings on his back flapped. His entire person transformed into a grayish-black flowing light, and with the 9 nether dragon spear in hand, he suddenly attacked. This killing intent, Bufang's expression changed slightly. He could feel that Long Yu's spear contained an extremely strong killing intent, and the power of the 10,000 human kill. The stronger the killing intent, the stronger the killing intent. World's End near hand. Bufang instantly moved, turning the world's end into a mere foot, and instantly retreated a distance of several dozen feet. However, Long Yu's speed was even faster than his. With just a flap of the lunar wings, his entire person appeared in front of Bufang like a flowing light, and his spear struck out. World's End Barrier. Bufang immediately condensed a layer of World's End Barrier to defend against Long Yu's spear. With his cultivation of LV4 True Spirit Realm, even if he used a mortal-level martial skill like World's End Barrier, his defense was still extremely extraordinary. Long Yu's spear struck the World's End Barrier, and in an instant, endless killing intent burst out. However, the killing intent was completely absorbed by the World's End Barrier, and like a stone sinking into the sea, it did not even cause a ripple. Even so, the World's End Barrier was also able to withstand the extreme power of Long Yu's spear, and in the next moment, it suddenly shattered. Nightmare Thunder Charm. Lunar Essence. Withering Swamp Essence. Long Yu did not panic. He released the concepts and charms of the other 3 great laws he had comprehended and combined them with the heaven-suppressing domain. In an instant, Boo Boo was shocked on the spot. The combined might of 4 different intents was simply unimaginable. At this moment, while Boo Boo was still in shock, he was unable to do anything to defend himself. All he could do was watch as Long Yu's spear pierced towards him. 4 essences. Was surprised, two of them seemed to be Earth Seal, level heavenly steel essences. Bai Yunzong's expression was solemn as he observed the battle, and he had a deeper understanding of Long Yu's combat strength. With the strength that Long Yu had displayed, it was indeed enough to kill an expert of LV4 true spirit realm. Unfortunately, as the number one core disciple of the Jintian clan, Bufang could not be defeated by Long Yu just like that. Bufang's strength was still stronger than an ordinary LV4 true spirit realm expert. Just when Long Yu felt that he was about to win, Bufang's figure suddenly flashed, and like a ghost, he instantly disappeared in front of him. What kind of movement martial skill is this, to be able to break through the combined pressure of my four essences? Long Yu put away his spear and quickly turned his head to look around, but he did not see any shadow of Bufang. It was as if Bufang had disappeared from this space. Amazing, amazing. Junior brother Long Yu's strength is indeed extraordinary. I, Bufang, am no match for you. Following Bufang's words, a ghost-like figure condensed above Long Yu's head and landed in front of Long Yu, laughing boldly. This spirit upper-grade elixir, the purple glazed pill, is yours. After saying this, he threw a small porcelain bottle containing elixirs into Long Yu's hand. Long Yu caught it instinctively, and his expression changed slightly. Senior brother Bu, you did not lose to me. If you had attacked just now, I'm afraid I would be a corpse by now. What's the point of saying all this? The 7-clan martial competition is around the corner. Even if I have this purple glazed pill, I will not be able to make another breakthrough. That you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.